Happy New Year! Starting the year off right late. We are late.
Let's go. We are here.
I mean,
welcome to the golden era.
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
That's right.
That's
Welcome.
right.
Let's go.
We kind of eased our way into the new year. No conflict, nothing going on really.
Oh, just a more.
We could say Merry Christmas again. They used to put you in jail for that.
Yeah, well, they might.
Merry Christmas.
They still do in the UK.
In the UK, yeah.
Everything else, sir.
What's it
Yeah,
like
you
in the
stopped-
UK?
you
Merry
stopped
Christmas.
We stopped them from eating the dogs and cats.
Yes, yes.
The dogs.
The dogs and cats are safe.
Or eating the pet.
And maybe the squirrels will be safe
It doesn't
too.
qualify
My
for
first-
X-ray girl though. She's still.
I'm in
part
Canada,
of her
so it doesn't
daily
matter.
Yeah, it's cultural. It's a cultural thing, Ryan. It's a cultural thing.
Soon to be the 51st state of Canada.
Join
so
us,
we'll
X-Ray
see.
Girl.
I'm ready.
Oh man, you guys had a meme where X-Ray Girl was Snow White, and it was set to some Chinese music, and it was the funniest. I was howling. I was howling. It worked. It worked really well.
I might be
so
whiter
good.
than Rachel Zegler, so it makes sense.
If Black, or I don't know who made the meme, but it was.
That was Perry Chan.
Perry Chan.
Perry Chan.
Shout out Perry Chan.
Yep.
Perry
Stop
Chan,
the Asian
Beautiful
hate.
man, Perry Chan.
Stop the
Right.
Asian hate. First
Full
Friday.
Asian Perry Chan.
Well, no, he's
Shout out,
Canadian
yeah,
too.
Perry Chan.
Yeah.
He's Canadian, yeah.
So it's like
French.
Well, as far as the
Hold it against
51st
us.
state thing is concerned, can we just leave out Quebec? I mean,
no,
No one likes Quebec.
no, they must be conquered, Gary. Gary, you're old enough to remember the Revolutionary War, so
I am. I was there.
So you would perhaps you fought in the Battle of
I was
Quebec.
the one
You know, the battle-
rowing on the Potomac, so that was me. I'm in the painting.
Just make them a penal colony. It'll be
Yeah.
Gary might actually be old enough to remember when Hawaii and Alaska became states.
I'm old enough to remember when Canada became a country officially, so.
Wow.
I mean, if you call it a penal colony, Diddy will definitely ask for a transfer there.
Hey, well,
He will.
So the first battle of the Revolutionary War was in Quebec. It's called the Battle of Quebec. It was the first time that America fought a battle during the War of Independence. And so it's time for us to take back our birthright and reconquer Quebec.
sure.
That's right.
I feel like if we wait long enough, what's going on in Canada right now, all those little suicide stalls they have installed everywhere, like they're just gonna all kill themselves. We can just take over the country. Just take all the things. I feel
Just
like
let
that's,
it work itself out, you know?
Yeah, that's also what'll happen with the trans problem.
Oh, starting
So,
early.
hello, demonetization.
5 minutes. That should.
Yeah, we're fine.
Probably not. Probably not. Welcome. We have a lot to talk about. Oh, no, whatever. This is just another. This is a Friday that ends in Y. Okay, so
That's right.
we have a lot to talk about. There's a lot of cultural stuff to talk about, including celebrities melting down. Whitney Cummings, who lost her job at G4. By the way, do you know she was originally going to be Olivia Munn? Beat her out.
Oh,
if you watch
right.
the Chris Gore documentary,
Yeah.
That's true.
Hail Chris Gore, is making some waves, saying some stuff that I'll say is really safe to say right now.
The
But
safest of takes.
yeah, we'll get to it. And Acolyte was supposed to be planned for 3 seasons in a movie. Who knew? Who knew? And some other stuff. But I would like to introduce our very special guest, Benny Johnson.
What up, kings and queens? What up to the chat? Good to be back. You know what? I have not been in the studio in 2 weeks. Taking a little bit of a break. Got to do it during the holidays.
Yes.
Got a fourth child on the way here. And just a matter of
Congratulations.
So
Do you know what kind?
no, I don't. We're
Human.
gonna find
Human.
out.
Yes.
Human,
what-
hopefully.
What kind?
One of two.
Yes.
So we brushed off the old studio here, and we are back in action, the Benny studio, and couldn't think of a better way to christen the place after the holidays than Friday Night Tights. It's glorious to be back, and I freaking love you all.
That was a very productive 2 weeks, Benny. You know, making a kid. Yeah, that's great. Good job, man.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Their penis is working.
We have it all figured out. It's Neuralink technology.
There you
Elon
go.
gave them to all of us. Yeah,
There you go. There you
Starting
go.
his own penal colony.
very, very helpful. So yeah, and it's my first time back on Friday Night Tights since the day of the Glorious Awakening and November 6th, and I don't want to get too overtly political, but You know, we had our own Rachel Ziegler in politics. Her name was Kamala Harris. And she was a diversity hire who couldn't stop yapping, made no sense, and sabotaged everything around her. And she went down in flames, much like I think the Snow White movie is going to for Disney. So,
It will.
boom.
Yeah.
Big time ratios and big time glorious, exciting moments. So the crossovers continue between all of our worlds.
That's right.
Well, we actually have an example of what could happen if she was elected. It's called the UK. And the United
Put Keir
Kingdom.
Starmer in a dress.
Yes. Well,
I mean, hey,
I thought you were
who
gonna say it
knows
was
what
the
happens
Pledge of
behind closed
Allegiance.
doors over there?
argument can be made Kamala's more manly than he is, but we'll see.
Yeah. Odin just mentioned it. Did you guys see the Pledge of Allegiance fiasco?
Yes.
I thought that was the
Yeah,
example
yeah,
you were
yeah.
going to bring up.
Oh, yeah, I was getting it ready.
What happened to the Pledge of Allegiance?
She was
She
so drunk she
sniffed it.
forgot it. So.
I forgot to pledge allegiance.
What?
1 second.
Yeah, that's was almost the president right here. If the Democrats in Hollywood
Was that
celebrities
when
had
was
their way.
this? When was this?
was
Today.
when she
This
was
was
swearing
today.
in
So
senators.
she's like the grandma, at least the senile grandma on Christmas Vacation could remember the Pledge of Allegiance.
The blessing.
I have
in pledging
Go ahead.
allegiance to our flag.
Oh boy.
Pledge allegiance to the United States.
Oh no!
First line.
I have some sympathy for her.
Oh, no.
I too have been drunk as fuck. I get it. These things happen.
Ryan, even drunk, you wouldn't mess up.
No,
that
I don't
bad,
think you would.
okay?
No, you'd be
You're
perfect.
not wrong. Yeah.
I have not forgotten last year at MegaCon at our meetup. And you were drunker than you've ever been, probably. From me, I've never seen you that drunk. And even still, when you knew you were on camera, you still self-censored yourself on a gamer word. So I'm like, you're fucking shit-faced, but you were still aware enough to know I can't say the gamer word on camera. So-
Yeah, there's something still working up there at least.
Some
Which means
background
I hadn't
programming.
Drank enough. Yes,
Wow, that's really embarrassing.
Professionalism.
Speaking of MegaCon,
for me.
we will all be at MegaCon, and the meetup date is official now. It will be at the same place it was last year, Universal Studios City Walk at the Red Coconut Club. Saturday night, I don't have an exact time Saturday night because I'm still trying to pin down the date and time of the panel, but that is happening, and we're all going to be there. So we're looking forward to seeing you guys. So same as last year, and it's going to be awesome. So
What's the
looking forward
date?
to seeing- it's February 8th. So that's the weekend of MegaCon, February 8th, Saturday. Saturday night, I don't have an exact time. Probably going to be like 6 or 7 p.m. like last year, but I'm not going to say the time yet until we pin down the panel. So
Yeah.
there we go.
MegaCon's February 6th through 9th, Thursday through Sunday. We'll be there. A lot of us will
Yep.
be there anyway, but
Mhm.
can't
Gonna be
wait.
a lot of fun.
It
Can't
was-
wait.
It was a little crazy last time.
It
was
was.
a lot crazy
It was.
last year. The panel that Benny actually covered for us,
Yes.
and there's a clip on his channel. That was awesome coverage. Of course, Ryan gave him a shout out. The whole place went crazy when they saw Benny. And yeah, so we're looking forward to doing it up again this year. It's going to be awesome.
It is. So I guess we could start with some more celebrities crying, which I enjoy. Possibly being put in internment camps. Is that what I heard?
Oh yeah.
We could only
Yes.
I know. I'm like
Brilliant.
not entirely against it for celebrities, but let's. Is that a controversial?
Well, let's
thing to
start
say?
with our favorite.
Oh,
Oh,
this nut
gosh.
job. Holy crap.
This is
She's the one
audio,
that collapsed
so-
on stage.
Carrot
that
Top
time.
looking rough.
Oh
No.
boy.
Oh,
Oh.
It's been a few 7 years since my Trump decapitated head photo scandal, where I was on the no-fly list and the Interpol list, and now he's going to be president again, and I'm on the enemies list. So come see me before I'm in one of those internment camps.
That's
What,
so
what is,
lame.
what is
Hang on, we've got more
unironically, what is unironically hysterical and truly evil about all this is that Kathy Griffin is the kind of person who during COVID wanted Americans put in internment camps and
right.
wanted to ensure
Yep.
that nobody could leave their home
Yep.
and that nobody could get bread for their children. and if you didn't get the experimental therapeutic, that you had to be locked up. And they were in favor of that, actually, for anybody watching in Australia right now, and I know there's plenty of FNT fans from Australia, including but not limited to some people that are actually live with us right now. Like, they did do the effing camps. Like, they actually did create internment camps. If you didn't go...
Yeah. I got forced into quarantine for 2 weeks.
Did you really? Yes. What does that mean? Was that like at the end of a gun? Like, was somebody like monitoring your house?
Well, actually, yes. If by end of the gun, like police escort, yes.
Jeez.
Like
they threatened
as
to
soon
take
as
away
you
his
come off the
swords.
plane, police there. They watch you all through customs, and then when we got to the external side of the airport, the military were there, loading all your bags onto the bus. And if you tried to get away or anything, they would have just pounced on you.
Just get on the train car, right to the internment camp.
No joke, police escort to the hotel, and then police there. Like they would not let it was.
What happened to your country? What happened to the country that made Mad Max and gave us Crocodile Dundee?
No,
what the hell?
No, that is its country is literally a penal colony itself. That's why it was made in the first place.
It reverted.
This is exactly what Australia was meant to be doing.
We were once a country of criminals, hardened and ready to face this crazy.
Then the birds kicked your ass and it was all over.
We sent you to the worst country we could find, and you still survived.
Yeah, that's
exactly. But now we've become friggin' pacified. Oh, it's sad.
So I know many of you in the audience might be asking, Kathy Griffin, why is she famous? I don't know. I've never known her entire career.
I think it was her and Joan Rivers doing Fashion Police really helped her. And then she had a show, My Life on the D List. She was actually in Seinfeld.
Yeah, she played herself.
Yes.
A horrible comedian.
Yes.
She pretends to be a victim, but she's not. She doesn't know what it's like to actually have shows canceled. She's never been canceled.
Well, she just canceled her own shows recently, Chrissy. Sorry to interrupt you because she couldn't sell any tickets. But please continue.
That's different. That's different than having somebody call a venue and get your gig canceled. Not filling the crowd is one thing, but people stopping you from even trying that's real cancellation. She's never felt that. She's pretending she's a victim now by saying, "Oh God," but she's fine. She's gonna coast along, and I'm sure she can shake down some boomers to go see her.
I wish Trump was the person that they all claim he is. I wish he was that guy. I wish he was just going to lock them all up. I wish he would just be a freaking dictator. But he's not. He's not the guy that they claim he is. But I wish he was, so that he could just take care of the trash. They're all horrible people. And the reason that they're able to get away with saying the shit that they say is because he's not the person they claim he is. Because if he was the person they claim he is, they couldn't say what they were saying about him, and they would never dare say what they're saying about him.
He has no interest in getting revenge on people like Kathy Griffin. He actually wants to make changes because he probably only has 2 years to make real change.
Yeah, before everything's gonna.
You don't even need to Trump doesn't even need to turn Greenland into like an Australia style penal colony, which is what I think would be a great use for Greenland. Actually, they're just doing it to themselves. Because of you, this is why I freaking love this show. This is why I love being allied with why I love the work of so many people on this chat right now. Is, guys, I mean, Ellen DeGeneres fled the country. Think about the win.
Yeah, she came here.
That's Project 2025. That's Project 2025 in action. Okay, and we stopped them from eating the dogs and cats. They got to go home, and now Ellen DeGeneres has fled. Because Kash Patel is going to be in charge of the FBI now, and Diddy tapes, and Epstein list. And it's like, this is great. The trash takes itself out. It's wonderful. Right. And you guys, y'all proved, it's just like something I wanted to get off my chest here. Y'all proved in this election that celebrities no longer matter. And it's only because I didn't get nervous this election with the Taylor Swift endorsement, with Lizzo, right? Like, is it freaking,
Beyonce,
the Chinese spy balloon, right? To bring in Lizzo, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Eminem. I don't know if Eminem is actually Ellen DeGeneres. I'm not sure. They look exactly the same these days. All of these people, also Eminem up there bitching, Eminem up there bitching about how Trump will take away freedom of speech and maybe censor him. When that is exactly what Joe Biden's administration has been doing to all of us. It's just like this Kathy Griffin story. It's like they will literally accuse you of the things that they're doing. And then Eminem, this like freaking fraud. This dude like goes and makes his entire career on hating Dick Cheney. Like in multiple bars about how evil Dick Cheney is. And then he stands on stage to endorse Dick Cheney. He links arms with Dick Cheney to endorse Kamala Harris. This is exactly, Dick Cheney endorsed Kamala Harris. Dick Cheney's daughter was going to be Secretary of Defense in Kamala Harris administration. So
Eminem had a whole song. He had a whole anti-George W. Bush, anti-Dick Cheney song on one of his albums.
What?
And that just shows you these people don't actually believe in anything. They
what
will
a
just
bitch.
go with whatever way the wind blows.
Green Day did an entire album that was anti-Bush.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now they're endorsing Dick Cheney.
And now they're standing with Dick Cheney. The question I've had is, what's the bigger fall from grace? It used to be pretty obvious, but is it Howard Stern or Eminem or Howard Stern?
Ooh. 1A, 1B.
It's probably still Howard Stern, but it's pretty bad. They're pretty bad.
Like the truth is, we don't need to imprison these people as punishment. Like they are in a prison of their own minds right now.
Yes.
They are freaking out. They're having mental breakdowns just because someone else is going to be president. That is all the punishment that these people need to see them flounder and to realize that they've failed, that they're completely, that no one listens to them at all, that they don't have the influence that they thought they had. That is the worst punishment you could inflict on these people, is to make them realize they're no longer.
Never interrupt your opponent when they're melting down or making a mistake. Let them go.
Existing as Kathy Griffin is punishment enough.
That is punishment enough.
Your content for decades, the content of this channel, the content of the channels represented here on the stream have said this about celebrity culture, and have like predicted, politics is downstream of culture, and your channels have predicted that there is no more Hollywood star, that Hollywood star is dead, and the Hollywood celebrity machine is dead, and that's why it was like the final result was this election. Polling showed that Taylor Swift's endorsement hurt Kamala Harris. According to The Hill, polling shows that more people voted against Kamala Harris because of Taylor Swift. So like you guys, this was like now finally proven out, and it's really exciting. So thank you all for prepping me for all this.
I don't believe that they actually believe what they're saying. Like if they actually thought that Trump was like a mid-century German, then they would react far stronger than they currently are. Yeah. Suddenly, the moment he got voted in, there was a bit of meltdown, but they no longer think that they may say they're going to that, but they're not panicking in that kind of way.
They're going
I think
to
a
dinner.
lot of it is. I think a lot of it is just like
they're going to dinner with Hitler.
Yeah, exactly. You would be reacting far stronger, but this is more like it's the next level of virtue. Suddenly, it's just stolen heroism. You can only be a hero if you sacrifice something, so they have to feel like they're oppressed. They have to say that I'm the one taking the risk.
That's what moving to the UK is. It was taking an arrow for everyone.
They all moved in like a week. It's like
and they all moved
already planned and set up.
Okay, aside from Ellen DeGeneres, they all moved there because that's where everything's being made for tax breaks too. Let's not forget that. But also, I've talked about with the adult pretender, and I call them adult pretenders because they're pretending to be adults when they get off script. When they have words that aren't written for them and they have to think them on their own, they have a really fucking hard time being human. Right. And you're right, Disparu. Most of it is performative. They're just going along to get along, to keep getting work in this fucking echo chamber that's Hollywood. But there are some who are believers, man. True fucking believers.
Like the Mark Ruffalos of the world, people like that. And and just for the record, like I would not want to go to dinner with Hitler. He's a vegetarian.
Oh, right.
Hitler, vegetarian.
Probably a lousy tipper.
Believed in the occult, just saying, just pointing it out. Artist.
Always on the meth. Doesn't share.
Always on the meth.
I'm glad Ryan brought up the serious controversy.
Well, didn't he have didn't I just hear something that he had Parkinson's too? Like
now we have to feel sorry for him.
Well, I mean that could be brought on by the meth. That certainly could have been brought
Honestly,
on by
who knows what's real and what's not when it comes to
I have no
of
fucking
that shit.
He lived his life out in Argentina, like everybody knows. So
It's funny because you were talking about Taylor Swift's endorsement hurt Kamala or whatever. A poll, the AP, right, the bastion of like conservative values, the Associated Press, actually put out a study that they did where they talked about a lot of things, including how people consume political content and things like this. But one of them was, do you approve of celebrities voicing and pushing their own political opinions. 40% of Democrats said they approved. Right. So not even the majority of Democrats say they approved of celebrities pushing those things. Republicans, I think the number was like 11% of Republicans approve of it and 12% of independents approve of it.
Wow.
So you can't even get a majority of the people whose viewpoints they're espousing saying that celebrities should be pushing this stuff on people.
Yeah. I mean, this is purely anecdotal, but we talked about it on Real BBC. There was a tweet out by somebody who was like no fan of ours at all. And there was that Reddit post that's equating the Sons of Themyscira and Creature Commandos, which are basically incels, to us, to FNT. And the tweet was, aren't you sick of this shit? I'm tired of this slap fight against make-believe villains by untalented Hollywood writers. We just want escapism. I'm like, oh my God, that's where things are shifting. It's like, thank God we're hearing that, because that's all we've been fucking saying for 5 years.
You won. Take the victory lap. Take the W.
Even over here, the most popular person in the royal family was the Queen, because she shut up and never said anything and got involved. Whereas the moment they started getting involved in like local politics, it suddenly came down to like, shouldn't that be a bit beneath you? Like this kind of issue is beneath where you should have bigger concerns.
Like,
and
I
when
don't
you
know,
just
making
see
money,
being in the mock fighting, it takes any kind of
I mean,
shine
like
off them.
you like there is a there are some artists in Hollywood who have a commitment to art, who want to make something good. That should be your commitment, because that would be the most likely way you would make the most money, because it's a fucking business. So put that back up real quick. I heard you talk about it in your video, Ryan. I wanted to check this out. Americans want famous people to talk to shut the fuck up. Americans want famous people to shut the fuck up. It's Shut the Fuck Up Friday. What do you do when you talk to a cop? Shut the fuck up.
It makes sense, though, because when you talk about like Taylor Swift fans, most of them are probably too young to vote. And the ones that are old enough to vote are probably the same as the Call Her Daddy fans who did not like that, what's her face? Alex had on Kamala on her podcast.
It was one of her lowest rated. It was her lowest rated podcast with the least number of views.
Yep.
Talking about the Call Her Daddy one?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it had a massive amount of
they weren't talking about buttholes?
I mean, it got downvoted to hell. It was horrible. And then even like Shannon Sharp had Kamala on his podcast. And if the comment section is still up, I would urge everybody after Friday Night Tights, go look at the comment section. It is the most glorious comment section I've ever seen. Man. It is brutal. No support for Kamala whatsoever. But one thing I got to think about, and
did you also have Kamala on Instagram Live?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I still just think Shannon was, I think Shannon was just trying to dispel all those gay rumors is all I think. But I
tweeted it out when it happened and nobody knew what I was talking about. Is it only
so wait a minute. So he's just bisexual now?
Guilt. Anyway.
Oh no.
So, but one thing I had to think about, like people like Mark Ruffalo, Chris Evans, Mark Hamill, some of those vocal left-wing actors. And I'm not saying that there aren't bigger stars that don't get political, but some of the most vocal ones are people that really they're not real movie stars.
No.
So they need
George Takei.
They need to try. Yeah. So they need to become relevant in a different way. Because, like there's a reason that Tom Cruise doesn't talk about things. Chris Pratt. I know Harrison Ford kind of passively put his support behind, but it's Harrison Ford. He got paid. He'll do whatever. Harrison Ford will come in here and say MAGA if we give him enough money. Okay, he doesn't.
I think if we offer him a bag of weed, he'll say it.
Oh, he would 100%.
MAGA.
Well, that's the conversation, right? That's like how many of these people got paid and how many people are just true believers? Because I think both are true.
Yeah.
So here we go. Americans want to hear less about politics from public figures, and Republicans really don't want to hear it, according to a new AP NORC poll. What's NORC, Ryan?
Nork.
I think it's some fucking group I thought it was some fucking group in Chicago. But
hey, that's MAGA country, Chicago.
But I heard especially on those subways in the middle of the night.
3 a.m.
3 a.m. subway trips,
That's
baby.
when the MAGA charge
I
come
have
out.
a feeling Ryan wanted to make a joke, but the first word within that came to his mind, he decided, I'm not going to be able to say that one. So
it was some.
And
So
then the second
that is
word that
funny.
starts with an N, he couldn't say that one either. So he's like,
That is funny, but no, I believe when I read it was some nonpartisan organization. I thought it had something to
Like a
do with
think
some
tank?
university in Chicago, but I don't
Gotcha.
remember.
Yes,
Yes,
think tank.
super Republican.
He is a think tank.
Why it is a think tank or it's an unthink tank? Why it matters.
Most of them are.
After an election season where the endorsements from celebrities frequently made news, the survey found Americans are more likely to disapprove than approve of celebrities. Big companies and athletes sounding off on politics. Wow, how much did they spend on this study? Because whatever
We
it
just want
was,
to confirm.
I'm
We
glad
just want to make it.
it's great that they did it, but it was too much because
It also
Open Twitter.
it also matters what the question is, because that 39% could include people who go, well, they're entitled to their opinion.
Yeah.
And so, because approve could mean loads of stuff.
Well, I mean, that's what
Yeah.
I mean. I think any common sense person is a celebrity is entitled to their opinion. If they want to, like, clap back on some policy or something like that, I go ahead. I don't care. But when you start blanketly telling half the country to fuck off, like Mark Hamill did, that's when we start having a problem. And that they became very comfortable in doing that over the last 8 years, 10 years, like however long this has been going on now.
Yeah.
It's debatable.
Oh, they usually got a massive standing ovation, like F Trump. Ah!
well, you just saw Oscar. So
Like,
brave.
let me derail this entire award ceremony so I could spew some
Yes.
crap on top of my, like that was just applauded for so long and they were in that bubble.
Remember Ricky Gervais, where he says, no one wants to hear your personal
Yes.
politics. Just
Yeah.
thank God, thank you for that,
Oh, what
and
was her
F
name?
off. But you know what was amazing? After he said that, so many people after were making all these
Regina
political
King.
statements at the
Regina
same
King.
Award
Regina King.
show. It's like,
No, it's
Maybe
your
we
chat.
should take it.
That's a good point. I was trying to think of Regina King, the star of Watchmen, the show that was so popular it was canceled. That she came out, was it Academy Awards, right? She's all, I know you don't want us to get political, but we're going to get political,
Yeah.
And then it was the lowest rated Oscars ever.
Wow.
Weird how that happens.
What was it she said? Like I almost turned in my dress shoes for
boots,
marching boots or
for
whatever.
marching boots.
God,
Oh,
shut
God.
up.
It's like
Shut up.
you live in a $6 million mansion. Shut the fuck up.
Yep.
Just 39% of Democrats approve of celebrities piping up on political issues, but only 11% of Republicans and 12% of independents, 24% of the whole sample. Same with pro athletes. Wow. You don't want... What is a pro athlete going to say besides... We gave 110% back against the wall.
Game of two halves.
If we score more, it's a game of two halves. If we score more points than our opponent, we win.
Well, we played good. We
I
went out
think
there
they
and tried
the
to-
mean
insight
like
of pro
take a
athletes.
knee. It was
Yeah.
good.
I
Take
mean
a knee
FNT
era.
LM. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the BLM
that's what
shit.
they're talking- and specifically anti-Trump stuff that was very popularized by woke fucking athletes over the past couple of years. It's one of the reasons so many sports had ratings problems over the past couple of years. One of the many, but yeah, certainly it's been an issue lately.
If we
And I
pound the
did look it up.
defenses,
So it's the National Opinion Research Center at University of Chicago.
thank you.
That's what NORC is.
If we pound the defenses and get penetration. There we go. So small business is a big exception. 43% of the people are happy to hear from entrepreneurs.
They do something. They create something.
Yes.
Well, they're also the closest people in this group to the ones they're asking. They're close to the man on the street because it's just a normal guy who may employ like 10 people, 30 people.
that you actually talk to in person.
Yeah, they're often family businesses.
Yeah.
and they're often far more informed than the government on so many things about how business and industry works. It happened all the time.
Yes.
I worked a bit in the construction business, right? And the government would come out these bushfire regulations that were just utterly useless. They would not prevent a house going up in a bushfire, but they would cripple the building industry with regulations. And I remember people in the business saying, why does the government just come and ask us about practical measures that could help prevent homes from going up in a bushfire that wouldn't cripple the business, but they would never actually speak to, business people about this stuff, the ones who are actually informed on it.
So, yeah, the ones who actually built the business have to weave their way through all the fucking regulations.
Right.
I learned a lot.
The people who are affected. The perfect counter to this, Chad, is the Marvel Avengers endorsement of Kamala Harris.
Oh yeah.
Where
That
they're
helped.
all in mansions. You can see them. They're all in mansions in the mountain.
Yeah.
Like every
Yeah.
single one of them is like filming on their phone, and from a palatial mansion that has like that has mountainous ravines in the backyard.
Yeah.
There's
Like,
nowhere they could angle their camera to make them look like
know,
they
right?
weren't doing well.
Like a pour, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
remember late night guys when they did their podcast? They all went into their laundry rooms to make to look.
I think the most disconnected one was it Madonna in her bath with pedals saying
Yes.
how tough the lockdowns was on her?
Oh no!
Yeah.
Ellen
Her milk-
DeGeneres
her
felt
milk
like she was in prison. She was in her fucking palatial mansion in her living room that you could fit your
Pelosi with
fucking
the
house
fridge.
in. Yeah.
imagine all the people.
Oh.
Take responsibility. Take responsibility.
So
Rachel
bad.
Rachel Ziegler during the writers' strike, if I have to wear a Disney princess dress, like, if I have to wear a Disney princess dress and get paid millions of dollars, hey, lady, my daughters wear Disney princess dresses for free all day long, and they don't get paid anything, and that's actually most girls' dreams.
My favorite part was Tatiana Maslany going after Bob Iger during the strike, and then all of a sudden, oh, no more She-Hulk. She's gone.
I still blame
She's
her.
erased.
That's what killed it.
It feels like reality is reasserting itself. It's a wonderful thing. And reality is the undisputed champion. It always wins.
It does all. You're absolutely right, Benny. They've been pushing against the last 4 years have been pushing against culture, like what culture actually wants, and they've been trying to force things on us. Like that's what we've complained about in Star Wars and all the things we've talked about. Is we're not entertaining ideas, we're forcing ideas on you in scripts now. We're just fucking sick of it. You know, we don't want to hear it from a bunch of fucking rich people who make pretend. Just entertain us. Dance, monkeys. Okay, that's what you're supposed to do. You work in a circus.
Dribble.
Shut up and dribble. Shut up and act. You know, that's it. The breakdown to 49% of Dems, small business big exception. 43% of the people are happy to hear from entrepreneurs. That breaks down to 49% of Dems, 41% of Republicans, and 33% of independents. Let's zoom out.
Zoom out.
The poll also found that most Americans are trying to avoid political news. Well, I mean, let's
I don't
put
think
that.
that's true, actually.
Let's put that in the
I have
reference.
data to prove that's not true.
Let's put that.
I put it in perspective. This is conducted after the election.
Yeah.
I think that after all of this, a lot of people I'm ready to step back and not hear so much about this every single day. I think the general population probably does feel that way in the aftermath of really any election.
Oh,
right.
It's a normal cycle.
Tired of it. But obviously, there's hardcore people that want to consume it over and over and over, especially when we're winning like this.
I think they're doing a cutout for corporate media because I think people are tired of being lied to. And they're looking at MSNBC's ratings cratered by 50 and 60%. And they're saying, oh, wow, people don't want political news. No, people don't want a specific type of political news.
Yeah, they don't want legacy media political news. That's why it's like, what was the question, as Disparu asked? I'd love to see the questions.
So the question for that one specifically was talking about it didn't ask mainstream or anything like that. It was literally just like, are you planning on increasing, decreasing, or keeping the same like your amount of political news that you're getting?
Fox
you know what I mean?
viewership has increased right there. The other side, Fox News viewership has increased. Like people like our channel's viewership has increased like dramatically and significant, astronomically after the election, actually. And I'm sure the same thing for Joe Rogan. I'm sure the same thing for Sean Ryan. I'm sure the same thing for a number of Theo Vaughn, a number of people in independent, having independent conversations. Their views have skyrocketed. It's the corporate media that has collapsed. So.
It's not even just. It's not
just.
Let's have the Brit and the Aussie duke it out. Go.
Fight. All right, fine. In contrast to that, a lot of the really unhinged left-leaning influence and stuff like that got a massive.
We were going to make the same point anyway.
Oh, really?
Say it together.
Yes.
In unison, let's go.
Yeah, they got a massive drop in support and viewership because they were spouting bull crap. Right. And people woke up to it. It's like, okay, these guys are full of it. And
yeah, Benny, you're totally right. Like this all looks like it's predicated on network TV and Nielsen ratings.
Scroll up a little bit. Here we go. So this is it's both, right? People don't feel the same need to avoid news about overseas conflicts, the economy, or climate change. They basically ask people, do you feel the need to avoid political news? Yes or no? And then they talk about and show why they found some of those things. And when they show that Republicans had a different answer than Democrats, they point to these fucking liberal news coverages that have sank and Fox News that has risen. Kind of.
Yeah. And it's not just, it's like your team won. You're going to watch the highlights over and over again. You know, that's normal. And then there was like this collective sigh of relief afterwards for a little while. And then things went quiet, you know? Trump stopped doing, for one, Trump wasn't doing a rally every 5 minutes. And they were licking their wounds. And while we, you know, had a good laugh while they were doing that for a little while, then it got quiet and then it didn't on January 1st. But
then it exploded.
Yeah.
Sometimes literally.
Like,
I do think it's a bit more than watching your side win. A lot of people believe things because they think it's the most dominant ideology. And so when they realize something like winning the popular vote proved that they were in the minority, and so it will convince them to look into the side and go like, maybe I should be on this team.
I mean, it became so fucking undeniable though. So yes, it did crush some people's worldview, but it was just like, I can't lie to myself anymore. That's basically what it is. Because you're lying to yourself. If you thought any of this over the last 4 years was good, like none of it was fucking great. And we somehow survived. Thank God. But look at how fucked up the world got. You know, that's why when people got mad at James Gunn for showing a bloody Superman and he said, well, that's our country right now. Well, he wasn't wrong. You can get mad about him showing it in the fucking trailer, but he's not wrong. Our country got fucking punched in the mouth a lot. And now we need to get back up and it's fucking not over. Like it's definitely a win. The culture war, is it over? I think the appetite of collectively of the country for most of them is like, we're done with this shit. We're tired of fucking hearing about it. But does that mean Hollywood and the powers that be in Silicon Valley, who I don't trust any of them, are not going to just regroup, rename, get smarter? Yes, they are. Of course. We got to be ready for that. This is not something that ends like overnight. At all.
It's like a big game of tug of war. Like you see the other side, like, oh, their strong guy like just fell down. Now we just have to like pull them over the thing, pull them off the cliff.
Yeah.
Or who watched Squid Game?
Some very Squid Game.
We see exactly like, yes, Pixar pulled some of the, the Troon stuff out of the upcoming thing, but all the people that made that are still there.
Dude,
yeah,
it was in there in the first place.
Right,
that's
it
the
was
problem.
in there. Like, in order for you to take it out, that means someone had to put it in there.
Somebody's
That's
like, hey, this little kid show for 8-year-olds and 7-year-olds for D+, and we want that the parents are just going to leave their kids. We put a trans story in that. Somebody thought that was a good fucking idea.
Celebrating that is not, I think, like, it's okay to be like, yes, it's great they took it out, but the true celebration would be they took it out and they fired the person that put it in.
And don't do it again.
Done.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead, Ryan.
Well, in fact, and kind of like we said when this happened, that a lot of these people at Pixar that worked on this were going to be fucking mad because they're the activists that put it in there in the first place. They've been sounding off. They're furious and they're crying. It's like, this show is going to save lives and blah, blah, blah. All of these things. So they're very upset that their trans storyline they worked so hard on isn't getting put in this children's show to indoctrinate people.
Yeah. They don't have an infinite amount of time to turn around. You've seen, like with Squid Game Season 2, it was one of the biggest Netflix launches of all time. In gaming, Marvel Rivals is now a Chinese game, which is just, if you don't win culture, other countries will come in and take it. And things like China, you may not agree will it do, but they will take your culture, and that will start influencing your own country and your culture as America has exported theirs around the world.
Absolutely.
China's really good at stealing from America.
Oh, very good at it.
Hey, they took the Marvel IP and improved it when it came to the game.
What's the one thing China's given us? COVID.
And
fentanyl.
One thing manufactured in China.
Yeah, a lot of fentanyl.
Yeah. Don't forget fentanyl.
Oh, man. Okay. Dude, since we brought it up, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but since we brought it up, speaking of COVID, Hollywood actors, screw your freedom. I can't believe it. It's probably the single worst thing a celebrity's ever said, I might argue.
I would agree with you.
Screw your freedom. Like, given the masculine sort of alpha, autonomy and legacy of the guy, him saying that on the podcast, run by Alexander Vindman of all people, a guy who like ran the Donald Trump impeachment hoax. Like, I don't even know why he's on a podcast, this guy, but like that was like possibly the low point. I mean, that was like one of the low points, actually.
Arnold had a questionable past, and I think he's trying to go hard in the paint to go against that. But the ultimate, the ultimate question back in the 80s was, who's the bigger action star, Arnold or Sylvester? And you know what, you would lean towards Arnold back in the 80s, but now it's fucking clear it's Stallone. Yeah. It's Sly. Sly wins.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
100%.
He's a better writer, director, actor.
Well, yeah,
action star.
Well, he's always been a better actor. He's always been and a writer.
Oh,
yeah.
Obviously, yes.
Yeah, but also he's still doing it too. I mean, you got to give credit for that as well. I mean, Arnold's just gone. I mean, the
what
last
is
film
the
he
last
did was,
relevant thing that Arnold did? Actually, that's a good question.
That's Jingle All
he
the
was
Way.
in that awful.
It's not the Puma.
It's not a Puma.
Isn't he? He was filming for some fucking Santa Claus.
Some
thing
Santa
recently,
Claus
right?
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but you asked relevant thing.
Relevant
he was in.
though. Relevant. Yeah.
Relevant.
I think
Terminator, Expendables.
Leading up to Dark Fate, there was some conversation. Actually, you know what? He was overshadowed by Sarah Connor returning, but by Linda Hamilton returning.
Let me clarify the chat. I'm
Turbo
not talking
Man,
about
Jingle All the Way. Jingle All the Way was the last Arnold successful.
Yeah, I'm not talking about Stallone. I know what Stallone's on Tulsa King right now, which is fantastic. I'm saying what's the last relevant thing that Arnold
was in, and
Jingle All the Way with Sinbad.
Jingle All the Way.
Hopefully, when we look all back on this and just laugh our asses off, we have to revisit Dark Fate as one of the it was the best examples of intersectionalism, fucking wokeism ever fucking made. For one, written by James Cameron, and they made, and I hate to say this, but the Mary Sue pointed this out perfectly, what his character was in Dark Fate. It was a rape apologist. He was a rape apologist, and they literally made him a draper. He put up drapes that was his fucking job. And I read it in my review. I'm like, oh my God, I got to agree with the Mary Sue on this one. They're like, yes, the Terminator is a rape apologist. They made him a fucking rape apologist. It's unbelievable how bad that fucking movie is. It is.
Just total desecration. I don't know why these guys do it. It's total desecration of a totally respectable career, and nobody's going to tell you how to vote. You should just go vote like in silence, like most people do.
Yep.
And be proud of yourself, right? If you're doing what you believe in. I don't get why guys like that have to do that. There's nothing. You say the day is a questionable past. I mean, most people looked at Arnold Schwarzenegger as like the American dream sort of come true, and a legend and a hero. And I don't know if people see Will Ferrell as that, but you saw Will Ferrell do the exact same thing, right? Like, there's absolutely nothing. Will Ferrell has been a part of some of the most legendary comedy sketches in history on SNL. Some very good, some funny movies, some legitimately funny movies. And then he went all in, for Kamala and did these cringe ads after cringe ads for Kamala Harris. You can explain this to me, please. Why do people allow themselves to be desecrated like that? What is, why?
They were either paid or it was just fashionable. They look at, these are the right opinions to have so that people can so I can get work coming my way.
Well, Hollywood's about the haves and the have-nots, and if you've walked the line, you're going to get elevated in Hollywood. That's really what it comes down to. It's been proven. There's an example like Chris Pratt. I know Chris Pratt. He's still a star and everything like that. But generally speaking, if you don't toe the Democratic line in Hollywood, they're not going to elevate you. That's just been proven. We've seen it time and time again. So they intimidate people from that. You're talking tens of millions of dollars per movie. And by the way, Will Ferrell specifically blamed Gary.
Yeah.
If Trump won, so he blamed
I
Gary.
take responsibility.
I also think that. Sorry, yeah. You go, Ryan.
I was just going to say what Gary was talking about with Arnold and his questionable past. It all happened with this Me Too era in Hollywood, right? And that's one of the things that ended up, I think, forcing people who maybe wouldn't have before to start being vocal because they were in fear that they would be next for something. And of course, after all this happened, I'm sure Arnold Schwarzenegger banged fucking 1,000 women randomly back in the day, right? And now you start to hear this story or that story, and maybe people start feeling I need to protect myself and stand up for whatever I think will keep me out of trouble. I don't know if that had anything to do with it or not, but I think that's what
I thought he was talking about his Nazi family past. That was me.
Oh, whatever. Who cares?
And I think it's out. I think he's probably into Will Chamberlain numbers, not 1,000.
Yeah, I think he was past.
Yeah,
he did have that past, right? It's his Nazi family. That shouldn't have anything to fucking do with it. Honestly, it was. I think like him banging the nanny, like whatever. It's fucking Hollywood. Who cares? That doesn't bother me. None of it bothered me. But maybe it bothered him internally. And he felt like he needed to bend the knee. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson. This isn't news to anybody. He got Me Too'd, and all of a sudden he was always fucking woke. But he like started going hard in the paint and like straight up anti-science after that. It's not a coincidence. It's not.
It's all the people around him. It's all of their publicists, like you were saying, Chrissy. It's their friends that are around them. It's the people that are making movies. Yep. It's the people. They believe that this is what they should do. They go, you have this big platform. You should be pushing this narrative. You should be saying what you believe, and then this is what you should believe, and all this stuff, and it makes them want to do it. And
what
it doesn't.
Kind of actors are like, what are my competitors doing?
Right.
Like the actors that are up for all the same roles that I am. What are they saying and doing? They don't want to knock themselves out of work.
So, and
then there's
Garrett,
people that do believe it, like
Garrett,
this guy.
So, I mean, you touched on something that I think is a part of it as well. And it's an unfortunate symptom of celebrity, and I can see how people get it in their head where you have thousands, not millions of people just constantly gassing you up. You're so wonderful. You're so beautiful. You're so incredible. And so it's really easy to think when they're constantly getting all this praise and validation that they start to think they're far more important than they really are. And then they start thinking, well, I need to set an example. What example should I set? Because I'm so important. I got to show people to do the right thing. And then they don't really have any morals themselves, but they'll go wherever the wind is blowing. And it's like, oh, well, social people, saying that I need to support diversity. Diversity is good. You don't want to be a sexist. And so because they're such an important person, they got to then grandstand to virtue signal, because it's also about attention. They also continually want that validation.
They really do.
It's not even that. It's a seductive ideology because it's the only one that allows rich celebrities to be perceived as a victim. And it's actually very difficult if your morals rely around principles, because those are what you do. You have to do actions and do good things and sacrifice things for yourself in order to be a good person.
Yes.
In this, you just have to believe things and say things about other people, and that makes you a good person. And so you can be the most greedy, selfish person in the world, say the things, and you just get forgiveness and you get pushed forward.
Look at Harvey Weinstein wearing a pussy hat. There's a photo of Harvey Weinstein wearing a pussy hat marching in the Women's March. This is a famous photo. He's in Aspen.
It was probably a real pussy that was cut out of somebody, too.
It was probably
That's freaking dark, man.
It was probably Jennifer.
Echo dark, sorry.
Lawrence's. So.
So like Harvey Weinstein, right before Me Too, Harvey Weinstein sitting there marching in the Women's March.
No, at their core, celebrities are shallow at their fucking core, and they have identity crisis. That's why they talk about identity all the fucking time, because they're in constant form of identity crisis. The well-adjusted ones, you don't fucking hear about. The whack jobs like Mark Ruffalo, you hear about all the time, and they have a hero complex. They need their lives to have meaning because they question. Instead of being just completely cool with, hey, I pretend for a living, I speak other people's lines, and I make millions of fucking dollars in some cases. Instead of going, fucking America's an awesome country, man, I get to pretend and make millions of dollars. No, they're fucking angry all the time because they have a personal hang up. And that's what a lot of this is about. It is just a fucking personal hangout.
Can I ask, please, if you don't mind, if I ask a few questions? One, based on reporting that I've heard, there is a great palpable fear of the Epstein list or the Diddy list in Hollywood now that Kash Patel would presumably be in charge of the FBI, and that's where an enormous amount of the evidence. Is that played out? Have you guys seen that reporting? Have you done any of the report?
I don't know if it specifically is anything surrounding the announcement of Kash, but I think just in general, even before that, the realization with the way everything was shifting, and especially once it seemed like the Diddy stuff was going to stick, I 100% think that a lot of people are trying to distance themselves.
Absolutely. There's a palpable fear of, I'm not saying everyone did something, but just being at those parties now puts a target on you.
Well, there's a clip that I've played several times on Cobra Cast, and it's Usher when he was on The View.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. And they were all trying to bully Usher into taking a political position, and he wouldn't take a political stand. And then about a month later is when Diddy got arrested. And
Mhm.
then a few days later, Usher's entire Twitter account gets wiped, and he claimed that it got hacked. And then a month later, Usher shows up at a Kamala Harris rally, and someone says, "I love you, Usher," and he goes, "I love you too, but I love Kamala Harris even more." And I'm like, "Holy shit, that is out there."
Wow.
And that is one of the most obvious examples right there of someone being panicking because they think like, if Trump gets in office, then we're going to get exposed. Because he was sitting there with all of these cowls on The View trying to bully him into taking a stand. And he was just like, listen, I respect what people have to say. Everybody has their own journey in politics. And, that's a personal choice that you have to make. Yada. Just gave a very politically correct answer of like not taking a stand. And then 2 months later, he's at a Harris rally telling how much he loves her. Bullshit.
Wow.
So
He's certainly worried about getting caught up.
Good old Usher song right there.
Oh, wow.
I doubt our audience is going to know that song.
I can't believe you know Usher
Confessions.
Cash has been on my show, like straight up promising it. I mean, I talk to these members of Congress and senators on my program all the time, talking about how there is there's a structure inside of the federal government to protect the people on these lists. I mean, it's really remarkable, and it's because if the list were to be exposed, you really would have a massive cratering of the structures that hold up American politics, because Bill Clinton is on these lists. He was on those flyers.
Oh, yeah.
But also so many celebrities that they depend on for endorsements and for donations. This is why Joe Biden, where was Joe Biden right before he dropped out? He was with George Clooney, right, in Hollywood. Julia Roberts, right, holding arms with him. They depend on that infrastructure, and so many careers would be ended. I mean, it really would be biblical. It'd be the atomization of so much.
It would. And, it really made them do a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking to the point where we need our own Joe Rogan and stuff, because they realized, I mean, look who you're relying on. You just mentioned Julia Roberts, old. George Clooney, old.
Yeah.
Julia Roberts was a celebrity who got butts in the seats. George Clooney never was as big of a star as Julia Roberts. But they're both old and tired. George Clooney has a show out right now that nobody's heard of. That stars Michael
Brad Pitt.
That stars Michael. No, not just the Wolves. No, there's a show called The Agency that's produced by George Clooney. Has Richard Gere in it. Michael Fassbender. Nobody's fucking heard of it. Nobody's heard of it.
Is it on Apple TV?
It's on Paramount Plus. It's on Paramount Plus, which is just
Basically
as
Apple
bad.
TV.
Yeah, which is just as bad.
I think even that comment about Joe Rogan, though, highlights the disdain for the audience. Joe Rogan doesn't have a load of people watch him because he's Joe Rogan. They have it because of the conversations he has, the things he says. And so you can try and imitate that, but unless you're saying what he's saying, they won't follow you. It's not a name or a personality.
The thing is,
but they do have their Joe Rogan.
No, the problem would be, they're trying they're going to try to imitate authenticity. That's not authentic. Okay.
And they don't like Joe Rogan's personality or authenticity, right? Or his they just want somebody who has Joe Rogan's reach and power and influence.
They had it.
Yeah, but the moment they start spouting their beliefs, they'll lose it.
He endorsed Bernie Sanders. They had Joe Rogan, but they pushed him away.
Even with losing Joe Rogan, they still have their version of Joe Rogan. His name is Howard Stern. He wears masks.
Ugh.
He has 6 boosters. He's scared of air. And
dude, he's scared to go to his studio.
To anyone.
Right there.
He gets perms.
That is their Joe Rogan.
Howard Stern has a studio that has a private elevator where he gets taken by limo from his fucking Connecticut home or something like that. And he wouldn't even leave his palatials to go to that because he was so scared of germs.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And then he's got to put on that wig. And Robin.
I think certainly there's a lot of people that are worried about the Epstein list and stuff, but I think almost the Diddy stuff takes precedence now.
Yeah,
he's
because
still alive.
He's still alive.
Do we know this for sure?
For now, he's still alive for now, and I think a lot of people are very worried that once this is all clearly insurmountable and he can't fight it, he will turn on everybody. And like to have the person that was involved with all that stuff putting all of that out there versus someone who's not alive anymore and someone's name on a list, I think is going to be much more fearful.
You don't think he's going to plead the fifth? Sorry,
I don't know.
It's going to be.
I think he wants to stay alive.
Yeah,
absolutely. And of course, you got the Jay-Z thing that's going on right now. Beyonce was aggressively promoting Kamala Harris right before the election. So we'll see. I'm sure that there's a lot more chips that are going to fall.
Yeah.
You brought up George Clooney. Where does he rank in best to worst Batmans?
Among the worst.
The worst.
The worst.
He's the worst Batman.
Yeah.
Batman and Robin's the worst adaptation of Batman, period.
I still like that movie though.
Okay,
it's
you can
fun
like it
as a dumb kid
but
movie.
He's
Yes,
not a good.
but it's not good.
He could have been a good Batman if he was in like a real Batman movie and not some gay cartoon. But
even his Batman, no, his Batman was the same as his Bruce Wayne, and it was not Batman at all. It was just like, hey, I've got a bad credit card.
It's a memeable movie. It's a memeable movie. It's fucking terrible, but it's a memeable movie.
It is.
The second worst Batman. Probably Pattinson.
It's Ben Affleck.
No, it's not.
Affleck.
Ben Affleck's a good Batman.
It's Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck.
Just because he's not good in movies.
Listen. If maybe his stunt double was good. His stunt double was good in the warehouse.
Do you think Robert Pattinson was doing his own stunts? Get the fuck out of here.
I'm just saying the only thing that people reference is the warehouse scene, and that wasn't even Affleck. Okay,
yeah. Affleck.
Martha, where'd you get that name? Where'd you get that name?
Ben Affleck's Batman sucks. Ben Affleck is awesome. I'm a huge fan of him as an actor. I'm a huge fan of him as a director. His Batman sucked. Batman vs Superman sucked. It's a garbage fucking movie.
Here's the deal.
It just is.
If they did I've been saying it all along. If they did a Batman series instead of a Batman movie on HBO Max and made it like the Penguin, if they made it like the Penguin, they could recast Robert Pattinson and no one would care. Like absolutely no one would give a shit.
I agree with that. Yeah. But here's what I'll say is, what was it? So
unless it's for Leslie Jones or something like that.
In the Flash movie, though, in the Flash movie, without Zack Snyder directing it, Ben Affleck was pretty fucking cool in that movie, just for the brief moments that we had.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
His stunt double when he was flying around doing that shit?
No, I'm just saying, like, he actually felt like Batman. He felt like Batman. And he wasn't Murder Man because that's what he was in Snyder's universe.
I'm talking about conceptually. So, I'm not talking about execution, but conceptually looking in the costume. For one, he's in the most comic accurate costume there is. I think Ben Affleck was a good Batman. They just wasted it, just like Henry Cavill. They wasted him too.
I think he was a good Bruce Wayne too.
Yes,
and a good Alfred.
In the moments
Alfred
we get him,
great.
I absolutely do. Think
Jeremy Irons is Alfred.
Jeremy Irons
is
Alfred is so good.
That could have been so good.
Waste. Listen, by the time Batman 2 comes out, I think we talked about this the other day.
I'll be 60.
Will basically Pattinson will be 41 by the time that releases. Wow, and I think Affleck was like 43 or whatever when BVS came out or when he was filming it, which is nuts. One guy is the guy at the end of his career. One is supposed to be the guy starting his career. They're basically the same age.
Could you
could somebody please explain to somebody to me the Creature Commandos
I'm going to pull
reveal?
Up that. I'm gonna
the Batman reveal there. Like, why are people upset and or angry about it? That seems to be in my timeline a lot.
Wow, we'll try to do the cliff notes of the dichotomy and the of man and the duality of man. Sorry, the duality of man and DC fans. DC fans are okay. So Marvel.
Marvel fans are normies. DC fans are hardcore.
Yeah, DC.
Within
DC fans are the Taliban, and Snyder Cut fans are ISIS. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
If you want to,
you're getting clipped.
That's so.
I am no longer the most hated person in the Snyder fandom. Gary just took that title.
Gary said that like 5 times.
I'm just talking about like degrees of fundamentalism. That's all I'm saying. Okay, you're passionate fans. It's all good.
Snyder people, he's right.
But now there's Gunn fans. So like whatever whatever cell we have another cell of Gunn fans and the Snyder fans, and they just fucking hate each other. So the whole controversy was for one, it looked like a Batman from Batman the Animated Series. That's what it looked like. But they were like a lot of the complaints about Snyder's Batman was he was too thick, he was too big, and they have this just big thick Batman there that just looks. I don't think it looked like Affleck at all. I think it looked like Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah,
personally.
but to Gary's point though, so DC fans are just incredibly passionate.
Batman's big.
They're never happy. They're never going to be unified on anything, and that's just fine.
That's
they're
fandom.
They're like libertarians. They're just never.
They are, except
so DC fans will never see eye to eye on anything.
DC fans got their version of DC, and they got their version of DC.
Yeah,
and
then you have this faction because of the movies. Snyder fans are no bullshit. Like obviously, I'm not the biggest fan of his DC movies. Snyder fans are some of the most passionate fans in all of
hardcore.
fandom. period. And I love that about them.
They love what they love.
And now you have this
one could say.
and now you have James Gunn coming into the DC universe, and he has his own fans that have kind of followed him from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And now you've got the Snyder fans and the Gunn fans within the DC fandom that are fighting within each other. And it's a shit show. And I love it. This is what fandom's all about.
A lot of it's so fucking nonsensical too.
It's mostly on Twitter.
Yeah. But like DC fans, I agree, Gary. You got like Sunni Shiite, Taliban. For Marvel, it's basically like gay pride parades.
It is now, but you remember. I mean, I know you know, Ryan, but the term DC had a term for Marvel fans. It was Marvel zombies. That's what they called them because they would just put up with anything, right? And
establishment shills.
I will never forgive Marvel fans for making Captain Marvel a $1 billion film. Go fuck yourself for that one, okay? Like, that just shows how normified they are. Go ahead, Benny.
No, I apologize for interrupting. Please.
No.
Okay, is there something intrinsic about the DC universe that makes it so hard to serve the fans?
Because they have
the best. It
the
does seem like they get rug pulled all the time, right?
Oh,
It's
yes.
They have the best characters. They have the most iconic characters. So Batman and Superman, no matter how many Robert Downey Jr. fans are out there or whatever, they're never going to be on the level of Superman and Batman. It doesn't matter how many billions the Marvel Cinematic Universe makes. Batman and Superman are the standard. They always will be the standard. Spider-Man's the only one that has an argument to be among those two guys.
Spider-Man's a bigger superhero than both of them.
So, yeah, like normies.
Worldwide, it's not even close.
Yes, because of normies.
Yeah.
But Superman is the most definitive superhero of all time, and Batman is the coolest superhero of all time. You know what I mean? But Spider-Man hits the normies, so he hits to another level. So I get that. But anyway,
I mean, hits the normies in the same way Star Wars hits the normies. Star Wars is the most normie-friendly thing out there, too. I mean, if you want to...
100%. Yeah.
One of the reasons that it's the way this is over the past decade is also because of Warner Brothers specifically.
Yes.
Like because of like it didn't matter, right? It didn't matter whether it was Nolan. You still had people coming out there when Christian Bale was cast. You still had people going out there when Heath Ledger was cast. You had these like very, very strong opinions about these characters. But in the post-Nolan universe, Warner Brothers as a company made a lot of decisions. They'd go forward, they'd go back, they'd be very reactive to this or that, sometimes to their detriment. And that's led to this fucking disaster zone of DC. And it was all while Marvel made the biggest cinematic universe that we've ever seen in history.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And they were like, okay, we got to try to copy that. Well, no, that's not working. We have to change this. We have to change that. We need to cut this to shreds. We need to do this. So regardless of whether or not people liked a creative vision that something might be headed in, it immediately got taken away and gone the other direction. It just has caused a complete and total disaster, which was
Toby Emmerich.
During that run, you had the Nolan Batman that was crushing it. Then you had the video game side. Batman was dominating the video game world, the Arkham series. And then wasn't that Scott Snyder's run that was going on? Warner Brothers in the 2000s was dominant. Absolutely fucking dominant.
Batman
dominated all of media.
Harry Potter,
that run.
Warner Brothers, Game of Thrones was going strong on HBO. They were fucking dominant.
This is an important follow-up question, I suppose. Is like we went to Harry Potter World together, didn't we? Like during MegaCon last year.
Yep.
Warner Brothers did not screw up the Harry Potter universe.
No,
not yet.
They tried. They tried. But they couldn't.
The DC universe is a darker universe, which makes it more difficult to do stories, especially in the current day, where if you feel like you're living in a darker world. So to tell a heroic story requires a lot more talent to do properly, whereas Marvel is overall more just heroic stuff. It's people doing good things, and that's a very easy
Marvel has maintained comic-wise their personality from the 60s to like 2016. Okay, we said there's an ending date. But they had a personality as a publisher, and they maintained that personality that entire era. DC, which was their first, Superman, Batman were their first, they changed all the fucking time, and then all of a sudden they were chasing Marvel forever in the comic books, and they've had a chip on their shoulder because like we're fucking here first. Marvel copied half of our shit. They did, and they did it better, for a long time. But they maintained their personality and they maintained their continuity. Now things are different now, but that's always been like DC should have been the big brother that has the little brother syndrome, and that carried over into the movies for some reason. But what Ryan was talking about, Toby, the executives who took over Warner Brothers, Toby Emmerich being one of them, a known plagiarist, and then I forgot the Japanese guy name who was running the studios first that got Me Too'd out of there by Jar Jar Abrams' wife, so he could sign that deal and do fucking nothing with it.
Walter Hamada?
Before
yeah.
Walter,
Hamada.
no, it was before Walter Hamada. It was before. There was another guy there before Hamada, right? Hamada came from the horror side, right, and was known for making a lot of money with horror movies. And they thought he could do the same thing with DC and Warner Brothers, and didn't do it. But there was another guy, I forgot what it was, and he slept with
Chan?
No, he slept with. I forgot his name. He slept with an actress. He did what like people do.
Oh, I can't say that.
Kevin Suzuki Toyota. Okay, that's his name. All right.
Yeah, he got fired because
Matsui.
sexual behavior.
Yeah, he got forced out by Jar Jar Abrams' wife. So like they're fucking stupid, and they had a bunch of, and what Ryan said, a bunch of knee-jerk executives who like, they probably should have stuck with Snyder's plan, instead of like finding a way to get rid of him after his fucking wife, his daughter committed suicide, bringing in Joss Whedon and just doing, and then trying to make DC Marvel. That's what they did. And that was one of their biggest mistakes, and they've been behind ever since. And now they want to like reboot it for the third time in 10 fucking years, and when the superhero movie's kind of taking a beating. So that's the history of Warner Brothers. That's the pressure that's on James Gunn right now, and that's not even counting the DC fandom is split. They're totally split.
They're very much split right now. The reaction to the Superman trailer has been overwhelmingly positive, but the discussion online has been completely split. I mean, I haven't looked at that trailer in a couple of weeks, but I mean, it was like insane. It's like a 96% ratio last time I looked.
It's good. Like it's
supposed to be at 93.
Very good response. Very good response to it.
Yeah.
Will it work?
Ooh.
Will the movie work? This
If
is
it's good.
This is the problem with Superman. Superman is they can not get Superman right. So we'll see.
They're always
James
apologetic.
Gunn,
They're always apologetic, Jeremy. They're like, he's an American hero, so we got to like ground him a little bit and not make him. There should be American flags everywhere. Like right, Benny. Like it's like Trump going up to a speech and there's 47 American flags. That's what fucking Superman should be.
Yes.
More flags. More flags.
And so right now, I think like James Gunn, he got away with a lot of liberties with Guardians of the Galaxy because no one knew who Guardians of the Galaxy was, generally speaking. So he got away with a ton of liberties. You can't do that with Superman, and that's going to be the problem. I loved his Guardians movies, but he can't get away with that same bullshit in Superman. So that's going to be the test. Can it work? Yes. Will it work? That's the question.
I want it to be good. I really want it to be good.
It's the perfect time for a Superman right now. That's what we need.
I think it's going to be bad. I've got a bad vibe on it. I don't think it's going to work.
I think a best case scenario, it's a 7 out of 10.
Which isn't good enough.
Which isn't good enough.
Not good enough.
Just based on the last 2 movies I've seen from
so it'll basically
3
be the
movies
Batman.
I've seen from James Gunn.
It's going to be the Batman.
It's going to be a 5
isn't good enough.
Like the Batman was like good enough to get a sequel. Was it good enough to justify waiting 5 years for one?
No.
Not even close.
I mean, I guess Joker was good enough then.
Joker was.
Yes. A sequel,
and look what happened.
Was that worth it?
All right, so this is the tweet I was talking about earlier concerning Creature Commandos.
Hey, I'm in that one.
So just to give you reference, Benny, and the audience who didn't watch Creature Commandos, there's a thing called the Sons of Themyscira, and they turned them into incels. This is the first outing of the DCU. So it led a lot of people to believe.
Jeremy?
Yes, there's a lot of people to believe that they were taking a shot at us. Taking a shot at our sphere. And I think it's broader than that. I think it's taking a shot at MAGA. I think it's taking a shot at Snyder Bros. I think it's way broader than that. I'm not going to be narcissistic and think it's about us. But let's go with that. If any of you in the chat are in James Gunn's head as he starts out his DCU, it's hilarious. And he's fucked. He's completely fucked.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is, I like how Gunn took inspiration from the grifters for the Sons of Themyscira, LOL. Now look at the tweet. Now, this is like not a guy who follows me or anything. It's an anime avatar, so I'm going to assume they hate us. It says, I actually think it's ass that a lot of our media is becoming imaginary slap fights between obnoxious Hollywood writers and YouTubers they dislike. That's good. I think that's...
Yes.
Well, wasn't there a direct call out against all y'all on She-Hulk? Like, it was like
pretty close.
She-Hulk.
There's a car,
basically the same thing.
There's a car video. It's the same thing that happened in The Boys season 2. It's the same thing that happened at the end of the Batman. And yes, very much so. I'm not saying us. I'm royal we. Like, this sphere was called out in She-Hulk. We were made the villains. Yes.
And they bragged about it. They went on interviews and said they sent messages and videos to each other about comments about the show. And they'll be on in the show in 3 weeks. They won't see that coming. And then when it happened, it was funny. That's what they don't understand about any. You call people, it's just funny to me that you think that that's a big enough thing you can put in your show. And the comments didn't even make sense in the show because it was a real world thing implanted into your universe. So once again, it wasn't authentic, so it didn't work in the story.
And imagine you're a normie, right? You're not paying attention to any of this discourse. You're not doing any of that. You're just trying to watch a superhero show. And then this weird argument shows up that's like argument between two parties that you don't even know. It's just like, can we get back to the show? Can we get back to the movie? And that's what it's been like the last 5 years.
Yep.
So have the screenings of Superman been bad? That's the other rumor that I
there was some reports of
there
was some reports of early screenings, but I don't know if that was confirmed. Ryan, was that confirmed to be legit or not?
Listen, 100% these screenings happened. These were not audience test screenings. These were internal screenings at Warner Brothers with Warner Brothers people. Now, there were some people who saw that there was like, there's some stuff that's not good. I think we should be worried about it. And I think in general, you should be worried about it, period, because a lot's riding on this movie. A lot is riding on this movie for the future of the DC universe. But I believe that those things happen, that some people said that. Now, are there people there that thought it was fucking awesome too? Probably, 100%. I'm sure there were people that thought this was just awesome as well. It's funny, though, that after those reports came out that, hey, maybe you should be worried about this a little bit, the first reaction was, there have been no screenings of this. This is all bullshit. And then one day later, more stories came out. It's like, actually, reactions for the screening were very, very positive and great. Well, which is it? Obviously, you're doing damage control to try to twist these things.
Overall,
my guess is that my guess is that the screenings, there's some people that saw it, they're like, I don't know if I like the tone of this. I don't know how this is going to go. But probably not, oh my God, this is an incoming disaster.
No. Didn't I hear some, they said it's like The Mummy and what else?
The Captain America, the First Avenger, and The Mummy.
Which Mummy? Which Mummy?
Yeah, that was my question.
If it's the first Mummy, then like I'm that's fine. I have no problem with that. I mean, it's kind of weird for Superman, but like I love the first Mummy and I love the first Captain America. I think it's great.
Yeah, same.
That's like, all right, that's good. Yeah, and like when you hear test screenings when it comes to Marvel stuff, it's mostly bullshit. They don't test screen as much as fucking DC does. Warner Brothers does test screen. I've talked to people who've gone to them. They test screen the shit out of Flash. A lot of good that did. By the way, James Gunn's favorite superhero movie.
Best
But
superhero movie
they showed it almost a year
Yikes.
early at CinemaCon. Remember when we were there? Like people had seen it at CinemaCon. So they felt really good about that. So like you can't trust and test screeners. I don't know how good they are in LA anymore. Maybe they need to get out of the home field, right? And get out of Burbank and maybe not do test screenings to the same people over, which is what they do, by the way. They do it to the same people over and over again. And they need to get out and maybe do a test screening in freaking Orlando or, or Grand Rapids or something like that and get another point of view. I'm just saying outside of Southern California, who's just going to love everything so I can keep getting test screenings. I'm sure it's the same situation. Not to disrespect, if you get a test screening, go. I don't care. But, and they're not out there, like these people are, they're pretty anonymous with the test screening stuff. But it's not like a shill. But go on.
Oh, no. I just want to know, just before we move off this topic, who's winning? Is it the Corn Sweat team or is it the Henry Cavill team?
Ooh, right. Cavill's winning until Corn Sweat comes out and proves himself.
I don't think that there's any way the Corn Sweat team can be winning right now. Cavill still got the pulse of the fandom, so until the movie comes out, there's no way he to know that. But right now, Cavill still has the pulse of the fandom.
Okay, he's
the crazy
king.
Thing is, even people that hate
Like me.
The Zack Snyder's DC universe love Henry Cavill as Superman.
Yeah.
And so like that, which is kind of strange, right? Which is very strange. It doesn't feel like, even if you don't like the direction of the movies, he gets none of the criticism involving them. All of it goes to like Zack Snyder's vision. If you don't like those movies, none of it goes to Cavill. The thing that was surprising to me was how many similarities to Man of Steel and that vibe of that universe we saw in the first trailer. Like that was the shocking thing to me.
People were saying it's very different. People were like, no, this one's dark, this one's bright and light. And
well, there's little themes.
Maybe the color palette.
There's certain symbolic moments in that trailer that were very reminiscent of the Zack Snyder stuff for sure. But yeah, I mean, like even me, I'm obviously don't like that those movies, but I mean, Cavill is the best person to be cast in that role. I understand why they wouldn't want to move forward with him because it's too attached to that previous universe, but at the same time, he still would have been
Jason Momoa is going to be Lobo.
Yeah.
Jor-El, Henry Cavill, just throwing it out there.
Well, his interview,
he can be young when he,
was he asked this during The Witcher, Ryan, when they gave the response about
toxic
fans response was the perfect response, and that's why he's beloved by the fandom, like across the board, because he gave the proper response, which is fans are passionate. They've always been like this. And that's the only answer you need to give ever.
You know why? Because he is a toxic fan.
Because he is one.
He feels the same exact way about shit.
Toxic fandom is fandom, and for the most hate I have ever seen for any casting of superheroes, is Ben Affleck's Batman. That was the most hate, and he turned it around completely after the casting. But I'm saying like the announcement, because he was so fucking famous. That was at the high. Wasn't that the J-Lo shit was going on? What didn't they have like the Jenny from the Block was going on when he got cast or whatever? So the Affleck hate was at an all-time high.
All-time high.
All that hate, and then everybody loved him as Batman.
I can't find
that.
I've looked for
that moment. In that moment, who would you have cast as Batman?
In that moment, I would just want like a relatively unknown because I wasn't a Christian. Like I liked Christian Bale as an actor when he got cast as Batman, but he was not a big star at all. So that's why it worked. You know what I mean? Because he wasn't a name that you already knew. So I like like Henry Cavill wasn't a huge name when he got cast as Superman. So I don't like big names to be attached to iconic superheroes. Because we've seen it. Like Hugh Jackman got a lot of hate. No one liked him when he was cast as Wolverine because he was an unknown. He proved everybody wrong. Heath Ledger's Joker, everyone hated that decision mainly because of the Brokeback Mountain stuff, which I totally understand. And so these are like when you have a relatively unknown person. That's the best formula for me. So I'm always looking for someone that's not on the radar.
At the time, there was an actor named Scott Adkins, and he played in Undisputed 2 and 3, and he played Boyka, I think his name was. Well, he was really good, but he was a martial artist. So basically a Wesley Snipes playing. He ended up playing, I think he was one of the stuntmen that did part of the Batman stuff for Ben Affleck, because he's got a little bit of a Ben Affleck look. But he was my pick back in the day. Like he was one of the guys in the name.
Wasn't he in the John Wick films too?
Yes.
He was the big fat. He was a big fat guy.
Played the big fat guy. Yeah.
He gained some weight. But at the time, the local news in San Francisco came. I can't find the clip anywhere. Came out to my shop and talked to my employees, talked to me about it, and we were all kind of across the board going, I'm like, he's not my favorite actor, but I think he'd probably be pretty good because number one, he actually read the comics. He grew up reading comic books. He's a comic book fan. So I'm like, I'll give him a chance, and he does look like Bruce Wayne. So at the time, that's probably not the answer they wanted. They probably wanted a bunch of fucking hate, but like we were like, it's all right. It's fine. It's kind of weird. We just felt like it was kind of soon. It was like right after Nolan stuff. And it felt like Batman needed to take a little breather, a little longer. But, now we're on our fucking third one, possibly our fourth. But
in all reality, like I would not have cast Batman and had Batman. I would have continued to establish Superman.
And
the fact that they ruined the death of Superman's story in that fucking movie is bullshit. I'll always hate it.
Storyline up. Because you have to watch the director's cut, Jeremy. Just the director's cut. It fixes everything.
Yeah,
shut up.
No, it doesn't.
Queer. Like when you go back to what we were talking about with Warner Brothers desperately trying to play catch up with Marvel, that was the requirement. It was do a Superman movie, then introduce Batman and Wonder Woman, and then do a Justice League movie. Yeah, those were the requirements to try to match what Marvel did with Avengers. even though they took their time and did a lot of solo movies first.
Put that back up. Here's what this is what Henry Cavill said, Benny, that made everybody kind of love him. So
there's something really interesting with this character that I find fascinating, which is that he genuinely really does just want to do the right thing. But everywhere he goes, whether it's a new town or a new bar, people just kind of give him a hard time and they rag on him, despite the fact that he has great intentions. I'm curious if that's comparable.
He does not have a man bun.
How this culture of toxic fandom, where if you make a movie, especially if you make a superhero movie, like you have great intentions, but there are always going to be a small yet vocal group of people there can kind of just be toxic.
I understand what you're saying, but when it comes to fans, it is a fan's right to have whatever opinion they want to have. And people are going to be upset because, especially when you're talking about books or games, because you're never going to be the exact person who they had in their head or who they played on Witcher 3, for example. I don't necessarily consider that toxic. I just consider that passionate.
Boom.
Yep. Dun, 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 dun.
And you know, it actually revealed
That's why he always wins.
And if more actors actually came out and said shit like that, they would be a lot more favor with the fans.
Warhammer, please, God, be good.
Compare that to so many other celebrities when they go off script and they reveal themselves to be narcissistic, vapid idiots like Rachel Zegler, where he was put to the test and he actually got to he voiced something genuine, and it was completely on point. It showed that, okay, this guy actually has a brain and is a decent person that respects the fans.
When are they going to learn? You know, Jeff Fowler's the director of Sonic. Sonic. That's the best case you could put out there of Sonic looked like shit. He's all, whoa, okay, we'll fix it. Squashed, done. Three fucking movies. You know, it's
the fans are saying the third movie is the best out of the entire trilogy.
And
so
also
it's like
building the box office and audience with every single one too.
Right. So I don't know if Benny, if you're aware of that, what happened with Sonic the Hedgehog, the first one. You remember that?
The bad CGI, right?
Yeah, it was awful. Like the design of Sonic looked nothing like Sonic, and that trailer comes out, and the internet just absolutely roasted beyond belief. It was horrific backlash for them. And the director, he says, "Hey, we hear you. We're going to go back to the drawing board. We're going to listen." And they delayed the movie. They redesigned Sonic. The first Sonic movie's fine. It's a good movie. It's nothing like, it's not like Lord of the Rings or anything, but it's good. It's fine. It's
different
a good
kind
for what
of
it is, you know? And so, but it had so much goodwill. Chrissy's trying to make me laugh, but it had so much goodwill from the fans that people just felt like, hey, this is something I want to support. It already had a built-in fan base with Sonic. And yeah, there it is right there. So the one, that first design, like that looks
insane that they thought that was going to be good.
Yeah. And so,
multiple millions.
But if you the first design looks like a furry, right?
Yeah.
A furry convention.
And I wish we could get the shot with the rockets, you know, and so you can see like his legs and his shoes. Like it's so bad. And so now we've got 3 films in the Sonic trilogy, and the third one's going to be the highest grossing of all 3, and they're heading for a 4th one now. I was talking to Ryan about this today. It looks like, 500 million is probably a good number to assume worldwide that Sonic's going to make. And that is a massive win on a $120 million budget for them. And that's all people are looking for. It doesn't have to be the greatest film of all time. Doesn't need to be this unbelievable, just a decent budget, honor the fan base, give us a good story without any bullshit. Everybody's going to be happy. There you go. Simple as that.
So do you think they're gonna read the room with Superman? You think it's gonna work?
Yeah. See, look at that. Holy
good Lord!
Shit.
I don't.
Again,
they tried to make it look like a person in a costume.
Yeah, he's got like.
I do not think James Gunn has the humility of Jeff Fowler. I think his name is. I think
James is an arrogant douchebag who thinks that he's smarter than everybody else. That's just who he is. And so I don't think that he has the self-awareness to listen to stuff like that. So that's
we'll find out.
We'll find out. But James Gunn is a smart ass. He really is.
Yeah,
he's the type of guy who thinks he knows more than everybody. Go ahead, Disparu.
I'm not sure that's a bad thing in creative things, though. To be so cocky that you will ignore opinion. The issue is that when you prove yourself to be unable to make the right decisions, they get rid of you and somebody else takes their job. And I think what we've been lacking in Hollywood is people which fail at something and then they just continue on and make more and more and more stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And they still don't change and they never learn.
That's been the big shift is people people would get fired. Like Alex Kurtzman would get fired. Russell T. Davies would get fucking fired. Kathleen Kennedy would get fired for being this fucking retarded, but they're not now because this is the game of identity politics. You paint yourself in a corner. And you can't be the person who fired the first female executive. You can't be a person who canceled the first Star Trek show with the black female lead. You can't be the person who canceled the first Doctor Who with the female lead. Like that, and then you end up just losing hundreds of millions of dollars. Fucking Star Trek has never made a penny for Paramount. Not a penny, not a single fucking penny. You think CW is bad? Like Star Trek has been a fucking sewage of money. They're just burning fucking money. And
how much they pay Michelle?
Michelle Yao is going to be in Section 31. And this is not bullshit. I got this from a very good source. $12 million for a fucking TV movie. That's the budget of Godzilla -1.
It's
the entire budget. So what I believe it was Section 31, which is a spinoff, Benny, of Star Trek Discovery, which you've never heard of. We call it STD lovingly here because it is an STD. Was supposed to be a series. So I'm guessing she was promised a certain amount of money over the series. 12 episodes, $1 million an episode. And it never happened because it was such a failure. She wins an Academy Award. All of a sudden, Paramount says, okay, greenlight this as a movie, but we have to give her the entire series worth of money for the TV movie. Whatever it was, it's fucking insane. I mean, good for her. Get your money, girl.
Yeah,
but
she cleaned up.
Yeah.
It worked out.
So you're saying meritocracy. You're saying meritocracy. So why not put the people who are the showrunners for the Penguin in charge of that universe?
Yes. Right now, the Penguin, which was better than the Batman by orders of magnitude. Yeah, the woman, I forgot her name. Sorry. It's a woman. So the woman who wrote it.
Need I say?
She did a great job. She did a
great job.
And
she's
another
DC fracture. So you have the Gun.
Yeah.
You have
You heard one woman, you heard them all, right?
She did a good job.
The Penguin was incredible and the Flash was terrible. So this seems like a pretty easy binary decision.
It would be, but this is Hollywood we're talking about. So meritocracy,
which is non-binary.
There you go.
Hey, good job, Odin.
I feel like I owe respect. Writer of Penguin.
Well, it's also Warner Brothers, right? So Warner Brothers. They plan ahead. They put all these things out, and then something works, and then they go, okay, well now we have to pivot other stuff to make that. Like that's what the whole problem the last 10 years was them doing that, them planning something, it either not working or working, them then pivoting to something because that didn't work, so now we have to restructure everything, and then the stuff that's already in production gets all fucked up because they're trying to readjust. That's their problem.
It's such a fly in the ointment. That's what I think that they were obliged to make it. It was such all the fandom, Benny was like, why the fuck? What? I mean, like Colin Farrell was good in it, but like, what are you talking about? This is gonna be whatever. And then it's just like the best show of the year, and you're like, oh fuck, man, that's a problem. Same thing with
and
same thing
3
happened.
weeks after it's over, they say, "Oh, by the way, the Batman 2 is basically never coming out."
Yeah, exactly. Classic Warner Brothers.
Ryan, remember Wonder Woman? Like everything was fucking failing. Then Wonder Woman almost hits $1 billion, and they're like, "Shit, we can't," because they wanted to get rid of it back then, and they couldn't.
Ryan's point, though, like that should have been all that momentum coming out of Penguin, and you come out and go, yeah, by the way, Batman, it's delayed for like the next 22 years.
I know, dude.
Sorry.
Into the void with that movie.
I mean, why is it delayed?
We really need a second.
Why? Can somebody explain?
Apparently they're saying that there's no finished script, which again, what have you been working on?
So the real reason is there's going to be two Batmans. James Gunn wants his Batman, and now they have this other Batman.
Because Robert Pattinson's Batman is not directly tied to James Gunn's Superman universe. So they're separate, completely separate. Which again, this has been a problem for DC for a while. They have multiple Jokers, they have multiple Flash, they have multiple everything. It seems like. So go ahead, though, Gary. You were talking about
half the motherfuckers that go in the theater think that like Batman's a Marvel character or something.
Yeah. I agree. I don't think there'd be a problem with it. I think it'd be better to put him on TV and then let him exist in his own universe on TV. Yep. But like if you released them within a couple of years of each other, as a fan, I wouldn't give a fuck, and I know most people would not give a fuck. But for some reason, there must be something in the rights, or some studio believes, or James Gunn ego will not allow another Batman to be more successful than his Batman, because if it is, if it comes out and it's more successful than his Batman, the man in charge of the DCU, then there's a problem. There's a big problem, and it's James Gunn's ego.
Well, I think that goes further, because didn't like the Kurtzman guy bury Bacardsi's in
yes
3 or whatever the
yes,
series that was
that
going to
is a fact,
because they don't want something to be successful that's made by someone else, and when they see something that's successful made by someone else, they just get jealous.
Great example. Star Trek Discovery. Many people, we're going to talk about it later when Benny's not here because I don't want to bore him with it, but we're going to talk about the canon issue because I sat and watched that Lower Decks episode. Fuck!
Can you wait for the rest of us to leave before you talk about that? None of us are bored.
But no, it's a good example of Star Trek Picard season 3 was the most successful thing Kurtzman Trek ever had. And the showrunner wanted to do a spinoff. He was told to basically fuck off, and they're continuing with Kurtzman Trek because of Kurtzman's ego. If it was a good business decision would have been to do Star Trek Legacy. Instead, we're getting Star Trek Academy, which is supposed to be a Harry Potter, which is spun off from the Star Trek Discovery universe. And we're getting Section 31, which is spun off from the Star Trek Discovery universe. And we're getting Strange New Worlds, which is spun off from the Star Trek Discovery universe, which is canon. It's not erased. It's a different universe, but it's still canon. So it's ego, hubris, the message, all of that shit and we're going to see a lot of holdover this year still.
I think it's also self-interest. There was an article that said one of the reasons that you'll get like a Noughts and Crosses movie come out is because they all want IPs.
Ego self-interest.
As that means, when it fails, we can blame the audience just didn't turn up. It's not our fault, it's the IP's fault. And so Picard highlighted that it wasn't Star Trek. It wasn't the Star Trek fans that weren't turning up. It was the fact that you were making bad content. And so that exists as basically proof that you're a failure and need to be fired.
Oh.
And so you can't have it exist. It has to be cancelled for your own career.
Joker 2 failed because of commercials and the audience was too stupid to understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll all get it in like 20 years. We'll be like,
it'll click.
Oh, Joker 2 was
it'll
great.
click when I'm 75 years old and about to see now. Oh, I like that Joker 2
All
movie.
these songs were relevant to the story and it made sense.
Why? Who's been? It just seems so stupid. Like, okay,
it is.
So if you're looking at, like,
it's very much.
If you're like, okay, so let's say you're the owner of the New York Yankees, and that's a really big brand, and it's something that a lot of people care about, whether they love it or like it. Or,
you get Juan Soto.
You know, it's a place. You got to go to Yankee Stadium to see the Yankees. You wouldn't want to make like 20 more Yankees, right? Like that would dilute your brand. Why would you create 12 Jokers and 10 Batmans and dilute the brand across like these multiple stories? It seems suicidal, actually, as like a business.
It is because you have Hollywood executives who don't understand culture, don't understand pop culture, and really don't understand fandom. And
lack of leadership.
And instead of finding somebody who can guide you, because you don't have to be an expert in everything, but you got to know, you got to be curious. But they're not. The executives mostly they're politicians, Benny. You know this. They're mostly politicians. They don't watch any of this shit and they don't care. They just thought, well, Marvel's this money printing machine and we got DC. And at first, that's a very smart move. We got DC. We have something that can compete with Marvel. And instead of, I don't know, following their business plan, but we have to do a different business plan. We'll do Marvel backwards. That's a good idea. Or what? You know, without reading a single comic, but like knowing anything about like how long this has been around, how long the legacies are, knowing the ins and outs of Superman and Batman, knowing that like the Batman from the 60s and the 70s is gone, you know, and there's another Batman, and that, like, who knows what it is now, to be honest with you. And all you have to do is find a good consultant, honestly, and they never do that. They don't try, and it's just a quick cash grab. That's all it is, you know. And then they make it even worse by making these things platforms and just started filling it with message like, oh, we need, you're watching a Batman show or something like that, and then all of a sudden, like, there's some shoehorned in fucking gay kiss, which doesn't like matter to the plot, doesn't matter to anything. It's just there because it needs to check a box, fans are going to notice that. They're like, wait a minute, this is not right. Tim Drake isn't gay, but he is
Penguin
now.
isn't a woman.
Penguin isn't a fat woman that might be trans. Not really sure. Yeah,
wondering.
Will Henry Cavill play the Wolverine?
I think he should.
He should, which means he probably won't.
It makes it Marvel is smart. He would, but they're not that smart.
The best way to approach things for Hollywood is like, hey, what's the best decision possible? Okay, that means that they probably won't do that because that's usually how it goes.
What's the smartest decision we can make? Let's do the opposite.
Yeah, it's I call
it
it
the same energy as John Krasinski as Reed Richards.
Yes.
People begging and begging and begging. Oh, they thought that'd be a great fan casting. John Krasinski as Reed Richards. He comes in for a 5-minute cameo, gets killed, and they actually cast somebody else to play the real Reed Richards in the MCU. It's gonna be the same thing with Henry Cavill.
Benny, it's called Occam's retard. Whatever is the most retarded decision they can make, they will fucking make it. We need to get
probably cast Timothy Chalamet.
Probably. Well, he's gonna be James Bond. James Bond and Daniel
Michael
Radcliffe.
B. Jordan.
Daniel Radcliffe is fucking Wolverine. It's like that no chin motherfucker as Wolverine. Are you kidding me? Get his fucking chin, Daniel Radcliffe.
He's the right height.
Yeah.
It's gotta be Brie Larson.
Can we pull up? I want to do the Whitney Cummings thing. I know this is like a hard transition, but there's a lot of those in Hollywood.
Hey.
Jeez.
Oh, Whitney.
Oh, legendary stuff
With the
here.
safe
Legendary
houses.
stuff.
It's
If only we had a female comedian to help break this
God,
down.
if only somebody was screaming about this 3-4 years ago. Now that it's safe, now that it's 2025, and
So-
all your managers signed off on it. Now we can say all these things on CNN, and she's up there acting like she's saying scandalous things, like, "Oh, they're gonna cut me off." No, they're not. You don't think every single joke was submitted to somebody beforehand? Please.
She's friends with them. They're obviously buddies. They've hung out. So I think it's great what she said. I don't want to take away what she was on CNN. She said some shit.
It's great.
It's great that she said it. It's also, we're also going to point out that I'm sure every person on this panel predicted this. I think we did many years ago that when this shit was over, there's going to be a bunch of motherfuckers who said, I was never for this woke stuff. And once it becomes safe, all of a sudden I'm going to be one of the cool kids. And Whitney Cummings, who lost out to Olivia Munn back in the G4 days for obvious reasons. I've seen her do stand-up. I saw her do stand-up at the Mothership, Chrissy, and I got the same vibe. I got the same vibe as I got now. She's good. She's talented. She's a fence rider. She's very LA. She's extremely
LA.
Intrinsic LA establishment. And she'll step out when it's super safe. I feel the same way about Bill Burr too. I know a lot of people think Bill Burr is edgy. I think Bill Burr is edgy to a point. Like he will not go down the Nick DiPaolo road or anything like that, where it's like true edgy comedy. We're coming out of an era. Chrissy has experienced that. She explained it. Where comedy, which is supposed to be no holds barred, anything goes. This is a safe space to say whatever the fuck you want. They were keeping comedians from doing comedy because they didn't agree with them politically. That is so antithetical to art, to comedy, to everything. And that's why it's, taken on the chin. That's why Joe Rogan had to build a mothership to have a place where, no, we're not going to put up with this shit anymore. And now,
did she lose any work for having these opinions? No. Did she have any shows canceled? No. Did she stand up at all? Did she say, hey, you know what? Maybe I am for the jab, but I assume not every single one of my fans and people coming to my shows is going to get the jab, just like you can't recommend one medical procedure for everybody. Did it occur to her to be like, hey, maybe I shouldn't perform at venues that mandate this thing? Maybe I should, I don't know, like to pick a venue. Or the thing is, what pisses me off is like, sure, great, she's saying it now, whatever, you get 2 points from me for that. But like, she's so big and talented and has FU money and FU status that she really could have taken a risk. She could have made a Jim Brewer amount of splash, when it came
Tony
to
Hinchcliffe too.
Yes. Yeah.
And she didn't, because it's not genuine. She's trying to define the new bounds of acceptable speech. So once you've kept a pressure cooker on things and like constrained conversation, it eventually explodes and runs away from you. So you can find the pressure release valve and define that as the new maximum you're allowed to speak and not allow it more, so it doesn't keep going further and further.
Like,
away from
what's
what you-
inside that Overton window? What can I say? What's all right?
Yeah. So let's.
She literally does it while she's saying it right here.
I'm,
oh,
so people in the chat who are like, "Oh, Chrissy's jealous." I'm not jealous. You know what I mean? Like, I could have kept my mouth shut. I could have, like many other comedians, pretended I got the vaccine. I could have gotten a fake vax card. I could have just. That's what a lot of comics did. They pretended they were down with it. They just stayed real quiet. And now that it's safe to have these opinions, it's perfect time because you're not going to lose any work for having these opinions now.
I think that, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, Chrissy, but when it comes to comedians, I feel like you get so much like firsthand response and how receptive people are, like the mood in the room, the feelings that, unlike the entertainment industry, which takes 2 years to produce something, have all these people in the writers' rooms, you don't know how it's going to come off. Comedians can shift so quickly as culture is changing. And so, like, the things she's saying, people have been making jokes about for a while now. The difference is for this, obviously, the reason this is getting so much press is because it's on CNN.
It's on CNN, and that's impactful.
And
that is.
And that is impactful,
Yes.
and that's the reason that it went viral. If she had said these things on Fox News,
sure,
no one would really bat an eye.
It's
because
too little,
some of these
too
things have
late.
been talked about.
It's too little, too late for CNN. They know they're tanking. They know nobody. Oh, let's have somebody on with accepted jokes that we have checked off to like say about the two of us and also the network. It's a very lame attempt by CNN to seem like relatable and that they're on the pulse of what people are thinking.
Yeah.
It's lame.
They're very relatable to 48-year-old white women from LA.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Let's hear it because I mean, again, I saw it and I'm like, it's hard to believe this wasn't screened, but it might not have been.
Of course, it was screened.
It was totally.
She didn't write this himself.
It's CNN. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's go.
2024 election fried our brains. The Democrats couldn't hold a primary because they were too busy holding a body upright. Are we still rolling? Am I off?
Go for it.
It was amazing that the pro-choice party didn't give their voters one when it came to the presidential candidate. Kamala was forced on us so hard you'd think she was patented by Pfizer or Moderna, whichever one's. Oh God. Andy just gave me a very scary look.
No!
Let me be clear though. 2024 was not only negative. The media wants us to believe this country is so divided, but we actually came together a lot this year. Like as a nation, we unanimously agreed that we would rather see J-Lo in a toxic relationship than in concert. We all agreed the government totally knows what drones are and are telling us the drones are still up there and we have no idea what's behind them. No idea. I mean, they're still up in the sky, so I guess we can rule out that they were made by Boeing. The point is, I think we all agree on a lot of things. And since I only have a minute left live on Establishment Media, why don't we just say a bunch of things that we know that they'll never cover? Okay, ready, go. Trump Jr. didn't have any silverware in his house. No one thought that was weird? Are we still rolling?
That's what you're going to say?
This is ninja level cringe for me. This is the first time I've seen this.
Okay,
now,
so I did.
It's comedy without any audience, which is the worst.
And that is,
to Chrissy's point, she would never do this in front of an audience because she wouldn't know how it would go over because she would be scared to do it.
She would probably do it in the mothership where she felt
And I'll cut
safe,
her a
but-
little bit of slack because it's very hard. She's doing like stand-up stage jokes to two people and a kid. What are you going to expect? The cameraman's going to laugh, even if probably the cameraman would be anyone here to find this funny and make an audible laugh, but like he probably can't because it's his job.
Yeah.
But she's trying to get like a crowd reaction out of what 3-4 people there, which is hard to do.
A couple of gay dudes that hate Trump.
The guy on the right hasn't moved.
She should have made her jokes a little bit more podcasty, conversationally, rather than like But again, it's
like
hard
doing
to know
bits.
how to handle this, and she's acting like she's gonna get cut off. It's like, come on.
It seems like it was played in order for her to try to appeal to this audience that clearly people realize, oh, this audience actually is powerful and actually has a voice and it can actually move things and make decisions. And so I think that's what she's probably trying to go for there.
Anderson's too uptight.
CNN's fair.
Anderson's too uptight. Andy Cohen is used to being the funny one, so he has to do this cheeky, campy, like mugging to the camera thing. Like, oh, did she just say that? It's annoying. I'm gonna slap him.
And let's be honest, she would not have said this before the election.
Nope.
No way.
It's only safe now because of what happened.
This is 4 years ago. We've been saying all these things for 4 years.
Yep.
Her delivery is so off. It's so strange. Like, you could tell that Ricky Gervais, when he just effing carpet bombed and salted the earth at the Golden Globes, was that it, right?
When it was actually edgy to do and just, like no,
you could tell. You could tell the funniest part of actually that bit was the crowd shots, which are things of legend.
Yes.
You could tell that people were legitimately shocked.
Lots of thumbnails out of those crowd shots, Benny.
Tom Hanks.
Like that was actually violating people, right? Like he was. I mean, he was scorched earth, mother effer.
Comedians are supposed to be the truth tellers. You're supposed to say it before it's comfortable. Now it's comfortable. It's like she doesn't really get very many points.
The delivery's all off. Yeah, the delivery's all off. Am I still alive? Am I still alive? Am I still alive? Like that.
Yeah.
Like.
They're gonna take me off. And also, these are two men who are very used to being violated. So,
yeah, her performance at the mothership was always like, we get to the line and then we back off real quick, like you know. And instead, and Tony came out right after her, and right before Dave Chappelle, and he just fucking scorched earth everything. I wish I could have recorded that, but I couldn't. Dude, it was so Tony Hinchcliffe was better than Joe Rogan, Bill White, and Dave Chappelle. That night, he fucking killed it.
She's great. I just think if she's gonna say, "Oh, let's say some things that that no one's saying before it," the things she chose to say after that proved to me that she actually doesn't believe in any conspiracy theories whatsoever.
No, what's actually brave is what I mean. I was like front row at that Madison Square Garden rally with Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yes,
and. That I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I couldn't believe it, and I was howling with laughter. I think even the audience didn't quite understand what's actually happening.
They didn't deserve him.
No, didn't quite understand, and it was so funny. And many of his jokes actually did hit. Many of his jokes actually did send the entire stadium. By the time he was done with his set, the stadium was roaring because they were like ready for him. They really did him dirty by having him come out. I mean, they should have had him come out like right before Trump, and, like Trump joined him on stage. Trump's really funny, right?
He came out first. Did he have anybody warming up the crowd? Was there anybody funny on stage before him, or was he the first funny person?
He was followed by a dude who paints, dude who does live painting.
Yeah,
it turns upside down and is like, oh look.
It probably took everybody a long time to figure out that
it was the national anthem. It was the national anthem that came before Tony.
Oh,
it was, and you never know what those things
knew the
when
words.
they're bringing up a random local representative to talk about something, or like, you know what I mean? So it's always just this hodgepodge of people they roll out there, and they do kind of try to style it in WWE where they'll have like cool down matches. You know what I mean? But
you had Hulk Hogan there in a pink boa. Right? You have dancing. Yeah, you had stuff to kind of get people in the mood for a comedy set. It was just it was a wrong place in the set, right?
If you haven't watched it, watch the Tom Brady roast on Netflix. It's fucking great. Tony fucking killed on that one. It is so fucking funny.
He's unbelievably talented.
Yeah.
And
they tried to cancel him
to the tune of I mean, he did it. What they did to him after that was so sick.
It was so funny when he came out and he's all, and you know what? I boosted the Puerto Rican vote for Trump personally. Which is great.
Yeah, and then owning it. Nobody wants to be part of a party that can't take a joke. They can't make a joke.
Yes.
And Dave Chappelle did this very publicly to Netflix, right? And ended up winning. Tony obviously won this round. Trump drove a trash truck. That's actually how you win culture. It's this incredible moment where actually the freedom movement, which is, it's not really the Republican Party or red or blue. It's actually like freedom movement, people that want to be left the F alone. Like those people are actually in charge of culture now, or at the very least, like have this big outsized effect. And it's great. The paradigm shift is so awesome. They threw everything they could at Tony to try to end him and destroy him. And he did something incredibly brave for somebody with his platform, and he won. He freaking won. It's so cool.
Yeah, didn't apologize.
Nope, you don't apologize. And it's great that she did it on CNN. It was very planned. It worked for her. She went viral, and I think like overall, it's good. It's fine. It's just we got to point out that authenticity is the currency of the future, and I think it lacked right there. And that's why I think it lacks. Again, I know Bill Burr has his fans, and I like some of his comedy too, but I'll never forget, like, Listen to the Anthony Cumia talked about it on when he was here. Listen to the Anthony Cumia story about how Bill Burr basically said, "I can't talk to you anymore because my wife said so," and it was over politics and stuff, and it was over him getting canceled over that whole fucking picture back in the day, and that just never sat right with me. With the guy who like worked with him on the radio show and was supposed to be this like really edgy, hardcore comedian. I mean, if that's your brand, bro, go with your brand. Like go all the way. Like comedians, we need them to push boundaries. We need them to cross. Comedy is crossing the line all the fucking time, and it's really important. And what Benny just said, when we as a country can just fucking laugh at ourselves. I mean, like, what do we do here most of the time? We're roasting the shit out of each other. What am I doing in my spare time? I call Jeremy. We roast each other. We fucking roast each other all the fucking time. We roast each other behind, like it's all we do, and it's fun. Like when America can take its fucking stick out of its ass, we'll know we are starting to heal, and we can just laugh at ourselves a little bit. That's all.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. And to your point, it's like good for her. Like it is. It's fine. She's funny enough. She's a mainstream comic on a mainstream network doing what are now mainstream takes. So
it's kind of awesome that they're mainstream takes, though.
Yeah, I mean that's
going
good.
Hard, going hard against the jab, going hard, like roasting CNN to their face about their poor viewership. Like that's awesome.
Who's
that's
even
mainstream.
watching? Other than
hey, the 13 people who watched, got like that's what they needed to see.
About it.
That's what they needed. They just learned exactly. No. It is good that if it becomes mainstream, Benny is right. That is good. If we can really start openly talking about how bullshit the jab was, Benny, did I see you tweet today about mask mandates, about the flu or some shit like that?
They're trying to bring it back, man.
Yeah, I know they talked about it in San Francisco a couple months ago over the flu. I mean, it's flu season, everybody. Watch out. It's like in summertime. It's like it's hot outside, climate change. No, it's called summer.
It's the fourth winter of death.
Right. Yeah.
They've changed our weather reports from
I saw that.
They do all the colors for the different
Very
temperatures.
proud to
It's like
still be
28
alive.
degrees in this boiling hot red that looked like we're all about to die.
I saw
When
that.
people compared it to previous years, it used to be like 38 or something that was that color, and they've just lowered it over time to make it seem worse.
Yeah, they got to push the narrative. God, your country's such a mess, Disparu, right now.
They do
Holy
the
shit.
States too.
Like I say, it's worse than you know.
Hey, you better clean it up by the time we get there.
Yeah.
It's been very interesting today, Elon finding out about the stuff that's been happening in this country.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. All of a sudden, he's like switched over. He's like, hey, England's got to reform.
and you know, I don't care if Elon is just trying to deflect from the whole visa
that's
crap.
what it
I'm
is.
so happy he is sounding off on it, though, because Tommy Robinson is just what's gone on with him is just
Dude, yeah, it's criminal.
Crime. Oh, I can't stand it.
Not everybody loves Tommy. I don't know enough, to be honest with you.
When it comes to YouTube, he is the name that shall not be named. So
yeah.
It's as banned a word as anything else on YouTube.
Our buddy Adam did an interview with him. You can go check it out. Buddy Adam Krigler. What else do we got on the dock?
Spider-Man.
Oh boy, here we go.
Spider-Boy.
Okay, so Benny, to give you context, this is Disney Marvel's first foray into Spider-Man. Everything they've done has been in partnership with Sony, or the previous animated series was part of Marvel. Television was completely separate from Kevin Feige's Marvel Studios. So this is Kevin Feige's Marvel Studios' first Spider-Man project ever on their own, without Sony or anything else. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I'm pretty sure this is it. It's fucking awful. You'll just have to see. You saw the Spider-Man movies, right, Benny?
Oh yes.
Okay, so you know,
Late, but yes.
Yeah,
I watched it,
maybe not
Deadpool,
lately.
He's a
Wolverine,
bit of
stuff
an
like
expert. I'd say he's a bit of an expert on
Well, it's about as much as I'm an Africa expert, okay?
I'll watch them when they hit streaming. Yeah.
Harry and Meghan or whatever, or gaming. Yeah,
There's not much to know about her.
She got a new cooking show.
Yeah. Oh God, I saw the trailer for that. Here we go. Let's go.
Already I'm pissed.
Yes.
You're gonna be late.
Sorry, man, I'm okay.
So
Hey.
okay.
I have a theory.
The Asian one's Mary Jane.
That's what I think. I think the Asian one is very gay.
I'm not sure.
Dude, you can't have a redhead. They're just not allowed.
Like later in the trailer, you see all the most important characters around the logo, and she's there. Why the heck would she be there if she's not a main character?
Good point.
I think that's MJ.
Lots of diversity, suspicious amount of diversity in the show.
Only reason Peter Parker looks like this is because it's written in the contract.
Like count the white people in the school. I'm not joking.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It is contractually obligated to make him a white, straight male Peter Parker.
Yes,
like that is in the contract. That's the only reason he's the only one that hasn't been messed with.
That's one of the reasons they came up with Miles Morales.
To be fair, this is a public school in New York, is it not?
I went to a school in Montgomery, Alabama. Let's say I was the minority, and for some reason our school wasn't
Montgomery, Alabama, where Jeremy learned his ABCs in his senior year.
Just for the record, Jeremy's talking about white being the minority, not because he's gay.
Chat's right. This is like 2000s Flash animation. Like it's very bad. So that's I correct chat. I don't know. I didn't check the names. I will. But the Asians Mary Jane, for one, like where's Gwen Stacy? She should be here first if we're doing things in order, but why am I even asking? Why am I bothering?
The other person that comes up seems very close to him. Like, so I don't know if that one's MJ
It could
or
be
not.
Liz Allen. It could be MJ. It could be Gwen Stacy. We don't know.
And why does every chick look like they're taking a petition for Planned Parenthood?
They got their clipboard
because
right
they
outside
are
the frame.
Right.
Because Harry Osborn's running through all of them, maybe.
Those people hang out.
Yeah.
Those people are around. Those people are around in Tampa. And when I'm out with my family, and they always come up to me with their clipboards, and I'm like, please, I already voted for Trump. You don't have to convince me.
Yeah. There you go.
Do you want me to vote for him twice? Is this a Trump? Are you polling for Trump? It's like you want to get those people to turn and run away from you. It's like use that hack.
Robert Stack and Airplane. That clip's been making the rounds lately. Coming into 2025, like Scientology.
What's going on with his teeth right now? Like, look at this.
Oh, God.
Oh,
dude, yeah. What the hell?
Shit.
Oh, that's a good point. What the fuck is going on there?
That's called an impacted molar.
It is such a shock that this animation company was fired and shut down. I am so surprised, and they moved it to Canada.
Wow.
That's I didn't even notice that. That's terrible. All right,
like you remember when Peter Parker was mercilessly bullied? And he was this big underdog. Like I'm not getting any of those vibes here.
Yeah, he was back in the high school years, which is actually a very small percentage of his comic book run. Yeah,
comic book run.
Yeah,
but it does seem like he's generally looked upon as a big nerd in this.
Yes, it does. It does. Like Peter Parker, like bad animation aside, that looks like Peter Parker. It does.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to be nice.
He's always been a bit clumsy.
You know me, clumsy.
So who's this?
So who's that?
That's what I'm saying.
Is that Flash Thompson? Is it?
It's like a fucking Amazon. Maybe it's a T-shirt.
Yeah,
a tall woman right there.
Is that Gwen Stacy? Is that
big woman?
Yeah.
That's a huge
Parker. Mr. Campbell, I remembered I left something in the bathroom. Deuces. Parker out.
So he's pretending to be clumsy because this is post Spider Bite. Now they say from the studio that brought you X-Men '97 right there, they mean Disney. They don't mean the animation studio. So that's
or the showrunner.
Not
or
the same thing. Yeah.
Can you back it up just a touch to when the people turn around and look at him as he's leaving the room? Right there. So I have also heard that maybe that person is Harry Osborn. If I don't know if that's true or not.
That's going to be Flash.
That's probably Flash.
That could be Harry or Flash. Yeah.
So I just wanted to, because I don't know if we really know yet.
We don't.
Shocking that there's
we're only assuming because of the he's got the cornrows, he's got the wave thing, and his man bun, which are so gay, Garrett. Right? Man buns are totally fucking
Are you
gay.
militarian? How dare you?
It's
I don't
not
want to get sweat on my hair
so
while I'm
happy
working
I
out.
Cut that thing off with dull gardening shears. That was great.
They were very dull. They weren't sharpened at all.
I almost scalped you live. Continue.
It's a race crime.
Deuces. Parker out.
Oh.
Superpower size kid. No, you want to
Enough with the
Has to be an Megan the Stallion as Spider-Man.
Mary Jane. This is Mary Jane. Okay,
That's
this is Mary Jane.
This feels like Harry Osborn.
Wait, look at it.
Yeah.
Well, okay, he's wearing green. Okay, Harry used to wear green.
Exactly.
Same hair.
He's got the lines, his hair. Yeah.
Yes.
Harry,
but it's tough because basically everybody in the show is black. So it's like, if Norman Osborn's black, who is Harry? You just got to kind of flip a coin.
Well, I mean, we assume that, but I can't remember the TV show. I was like, this is my son, and it's like their birth son, and it's like the kid's black. I'm like, how did that happen? The dad's white, you're white. How did that happen? And they just pretended. They just pretended it didn't happen. It's so weird.
Tyrone, that's how it happened.
Tyrone.
Check out our next victim in his dumbass costume.
So that's a dude, Benny.
Yeah, let's go back.
So
here.
you remember James Franco before he got Me Too'd? He played Harry Osborn. The resemblance is uncanny.
That's a dude.
That's a dude.
Supposed to be a dude.
We believe so.
Yeah.
That's the assumption.
Harry Osborn.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, like aesthetically, the clothes look close, so that's why a lot of people are assuming that.
I don't know. It's tough because there are several ugly black men who start to look like lesbians, like Jay-Z. You know, so maybe that's what we have here. We don't know if we think it's a man.
It looks like Joy Reid.
The feminization of black men continues in Hollywood. It's so fucking weird. It is very weird. They like to use that word, but no, that one's very weird. That happens a lot.
Always wearing dresses.
Yep.
And me. Check out our
Got
next
shoulder
victim in his
pads.
dumbass costume. Is my suit really that bad? Ouch. Oh!
They're trying to make him Miles Morales. By the way, he's a streamer, so he's a streamer.
Just consider it a good deed from your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. That's me, by the way. I'm Spider-Man. There we go again. Swinging through the city so fast you could barely notice him. I truly believe that I have these powers to help people, to protect
So that
them.
looks like he was friends with Flash. He just did a fist bump to him, and it's like,
that's what I mean. That's why it's tough. Like, I don't know if we have definitive answers on who exactly all.
Yeah,
these
he wouldn't be
people
that.
are.
He wouldn't be that friendly with Flash. You would think,
unless
they don't want to make the Black Flash, not a bully. Yes, right. So
yeah, this gives me vibes that Peter isn't even going to be bullied. He's like got friend circle. and
oh
stuff.
look, Mary Jane has Jeremy pants on. They're pre-torn.
Have these powers to help people, to protect
Look at Aunt
them.
May. She's getting hotter as thing goes on. They're trying to make Aunt May like they're gonna make her a supermodel by the time we're done.
Aunt May's gonna be 25 years old, supermodel. Yeah,
I don't know,
It's like,
man. That's
this is your step uncle Jamal. Like, it's just,
that is a big chin.
That is a big chin. Okay, so it might be.
That's what I was gonna say. That looks a little more
thing.
like Caitlyn.
It might,
Jenner
it might be Aunt Mike. It might be Aunt Mike.
Buckle up, buckaroo.
Yeah. But the point is, she's not an old fucking lady. So
Yeah.
Powers to help people, to protect
that
them.
was a very strong chin.
Need my city, it need me.
I know. It was a Spider-Man rap.
So they're turning Peter Parker into Miles Morales.
Like a neighbor like me? Was that the word I just heard? Or
That's what we were talking about on the real BBC.
Neighbor.
My neighbors, hanging out with my neighbors. What's up, my neighbors?
Our neighbors.
Neighbor, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that was the shocker or not. I don't really care. They're trying to make a Miles Morales. Like, do you believe that shit? They're trying to make Peter
That's
Parker
what they're doing, yes.
a Miles
Why?
Morales.
Stop it.
This is
a
Spider-Man.
neighbor with a hard R.
This is your brand. This is like this is your brand. This is Spider-Man. It was the face of your brand. When you said Marvel, when you used to buy a Marvel Comics, you'd always get a Spider-Man face in the little UPC code. It also is like be a Spider-Man head with Marvel Comics around it. This is your brand. This is number one, numero uno. There will never be anything closer to Spider-Man as far as popularity. And you release this. And I'm supposed to believe Marvel's going to change, man. Marvel's going to change in 2030.
This what would have been in the pipe for maybe 3 years?
Yeah. So they did a reveal. This Norman Osborn stuff. The first time we heard about it was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was a long time
at
ago.
a convention when they revealed that would be Norman Osborn. So that's how long this has been in the works. I don't know if that was just concept art or if they actually had any animation done at that point. But yeah, obviously a long time.
Yeah.
Well, this is just shows like there's going to be so much sludge coming through the pipe before any change even starts. And I don't even think there's going to be much change. They're just going to try and hide it a bit more. But yeah, this was greenlit back when the woke stuff was mainstream. And so
Well, I think one of the issues is that to change, you have to understand what the alternative is. And if you're a true believer, they can't even comprehend the other side's opinion. They've just written it off as evil. They've never spoke to them in years. And so they're completely in their own bubble. So even if they try to change, it'll just be a different brand of what they're doing anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how Disparu says years. It's like 2 syllables. Euros.
I don't even know what word you were trying to say. It's
Years.
Years.
Not euros.
Years.
Euros.
It's a bit like how Clark says years.
So, you're Spider-Man.
Oh, wait, and there's Norman Osborn. There's a Green Goblin. Why does the Green Goblin got to be black? What's up with that?
Getting rid of the gingers again, and he knows his Spider-Man pretty early on as well, apparently. And
That's Captain America's white.
Yeah.
Hey, that's
Why
crazy.
is
He's probably dead.
I feel like it would be much easier to find out who Spider-Man is if they were live streaming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's like I recognize that voice. You know.
Yeah.
Probably not a good idea for the secret identity.
You're Spider-Man. With my help, you'll achieve greatness.
Oh man, this suit's incredible.
Future Foundation.
Don't like it.
It's from a Fantastic Four storyline. Future Foundation.
Yeah, didn't Reed Richards give him that?
Yep.
Yeah.
So now it's going to be Norman Osborn, who they made a black man who's going to kill a young teenage girl, possibly sleep with her in the future before he kills her. You know,
please, they're not
like
going to be close to the story. Come on.
I got the comment, Gary. I got it right.
Oh, what Sins of the Past? Yeah, fuck, dude. Holy shit. I was telling the story. It's like, that was really hard to justify that shit when I'm selling it in the store. And they're like, what'd you think? I'm all, I want to burn it. I want to put it in my fucking trash can and burn it. That's what I think of it. Not good at selling comics, man.
This is so terrible. I'm so sad watching. I haven't watched this yet, so I'm like so unbelievably sad.
It is, and it's like you would think. I thought it was just.
We were done with this.
I thought we were done.
This was over. I thought this
and
was
we are.
over. Nope.
And like as pointed out, this stuff has been in the can for a long time, and probably for a lot of contractual reasons, they have to release it. Or I don't know about like an animated show. I can understand when actors are involved and there's bonuses and agents, but this is just an animated thing. You could just shit can and say no. Yeah. But again, then it like doing that would be the smart thing. Just not releasing this, especially since. We know this is one and done, that they're probably going to move towards continuing the Spider-Man animated series from the 90s, thanks to the success of the X-Men one, which they should do. I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
But
well, this went through drastic changes, if you
Yes.
remember, Gary, because this was originally entitled Spider-Man Freshman Year, and it was supposed to be connected to Tom Holland, and it was Tom Holland's Spider-Man's origin story. That's what this was going to be. They nixed that. They said, you can't do that. I don't know exactly what would have happened the same, what's different about it. But when it was pitched and announced, it was supposed to be connected to the MCU Spider-Man. That is no longer the case. This is a little Elseworlds thing.
Yeah. And it would still be better just to shit can it. But again, it would make you, if it would look worse for Disney if they're like, we're not going to release this. Then
have you seen what the Mary Sue has said about this?
Yes.
Yeah. They're complaining about how they're fed up with racists, and it includes the line, it's exhausting to watch them complain every time it happens that a black person takes a role previously written as white. I'm like, wait,
You know what,
surely the racist people are the ones which think that it's so important that you change it in the first place.
Exactly. You know what's
Rather than the
exhausting?
ones that just- can we just
Constantly
leave it how it
changing
is,
these
please?
characters. Yes, fuck off. You're exhausting. Oh, fucking the
It's so
Mary.
exhausting. Is there any model that proves that this is financially viable? I
No.
mean, is the
No.
FNT
None.
successful
None.
with this at all?
Not a model that wasn't previously built on.
Why do they keep
other stories.
taking their fists, covering them in Gold Bond, and then punching themselves right in the nutsack? I don't
You're
get it.
getting funding from other places.
It's a fetish.
So
Yeah,
there it is, Shad.
Clearly.
Yeah.
And the
Sins of
creators
past.
get
Oh, there
paid
you go,
regardless
Shad.
of its
There you go,
success or
brother.
failure.
That's that's the storyline I was talking about. Sins of the Past. Mike Diodato covers. I always say his name wrong, but
Oh man, the artwork in it is actually
it's
friggin'
really
amazing.
good. It's really good.
It's crazy
And that's
good.
Straczynski, if I recall correctly. Is that Straczynski writing those, or no?
No, I need to look
Was
it
that
up.
Spider-Man or Amazing Spider-Man? I can't remember now.
Amazing.
It is amazing.
Spider-Man. It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing.
So no one's ever made any money doing this. So okay.
It's been about 20 years since I've read it. So it's been 20. God, it's been a fucking long time. Whew. I honestly,
I'm looking.
I don't even know where half my comics are. They're one of 2 storage facilities right now. So,
dude.
I visited them recently. I said hi.
Yeah, do you want to see Norman Osborn nailing?
Oh no!
Norman Osborn nailing Gwen Stacy.
What the fuck? No!
Yes.
At least the art's good.
He's the villain. I mean, that is a fucked up thing to do. That's not...
The art's really
Office
good.
Space.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
Office Space.
Yes.
When he's with the cup, when he has the coffee cup.
I think I got every single edition of it. I have my collection there.
Yep. I have it. I have it because I'm a completist. I'm a completist when it comes to comics, but woof, man. Straczynski had some ups and downs, we'll just say. A lot of downs.
Yeah, clearly he did.
Yeah. I was fine with the Ezekiel. I'm sorry, I'm getting nerdy on you. I was fine with the Ezekiel stuff when J. Scott Campbell was doing when they kind of did a soft relaunch and Spider-Man 30.
Man, I love J. Scott
Amazing
Campbell
Spider-Man 30, I believe it was. I hated that they stopped the numbering of the title, which they brought back. But yeah, Straczynski had some really good stories and some fucking all-time bad destroying One More Day destroyed Spider-Man forever. Like forever, when they took away him and Mary Jane's marriage. That was it. That broke a lot of Spider-Man fans. I lost a lot of sales that day. Oof. That was bad. And I kept on trying to, they'll undo it. That's what they always do. When they fuck something up, they'll undo it. And they didn't. Yeah. All right, we can finish
Built
this.
themselves into a hole right there.
Yep.
If you ever need another butt kicking, just look for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Who wrote this?
Yeah,
P.
sorry.
Diddy? Like what exactly?
Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah.
It might. Yeah, that might explain a lot. January 29th.
Here's Mary Jane. The teacher is Mary Jane. It's a modern story about a teacher and a student getting together. That's what it is.
Isn't the Asian Mary Jane? We're covering the bottom. I think that she is in this as well. So she's clearly there she is. Yeah. So she's clearly an important character. I think that's Mary Jane or Gwen Stacy. Holy crap!
All right.
Like the rap music feels as like weird as it would if it was country music in the fucking trailer.
Exactly.
It doesn't make fucking sense. Period.
Like black people are in it. Let's put some rap.
Actually, a country version of that theme would be
They did
kind
the
of
same
cool.
thing.
To be honest with you,
Say what?
I think an old school country version of the theme would be better than the rap.
If they would have played like Country Boy Can Survive, like during that, I'm sure.
Dude, the Ramones cover is the best.
That would be amazing.
The Ramones cover is absolutely the best. So, all right, get this shit out of my face.
Well, chat. Now that I've lost my will to live, I'm gonna go see my children before they go to bed, and my 9-month pregnant wife. And
hey, thanks for ignoring your family for us, Benny. We appreciate you.
I'm gonna try and forget all of that.
Love you, brother. What do you got coming up, man? Anything exciting?
We're gonna be launching a new interview show. There's gonna be long form interviews with people inside of the administration because we know so many. You wake up one day and like half of your friends are now like serving and like running the FBI. It's freaking awesome.
That's crazy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully plenty of reports. I'll come on FNT when we drop the Diddy list, okay? I'll come on
Yes.
FNT when we drop the FNT list, all right? We'll release it on FNT. I saw someone in the chat earlier say, you promised us Trump, Benny. We're gonna do it, okay? We're gonna do Trump on FNT.
Yeah!
It's like one of the few shows that he didn't do.
That's
Maybe
right.
we'll start with like Don or Eric and work our way up. But that would be, I think, really fun.
Benny, you should
Excuse me, Mr. President. What do you think about Black Norman Osborn?
I want to do because he'll have an answer. He'll have an answer.
I think it should be traditional.
Well, a lot of
He's
people
always been
talk
white.
about it.
He's
A lot
always
of
been the
people
best
talk
white
about
person.
it.
He's always been the best white
the best
villain.
way, I think. Not the best way. It's not the best way.
So, did you like Michael Keaton or Christian Bale?
Everything woke turns
Turns
to
to
shit.
shit, yes.
He said it. He said it. And I'll say this in conclusion to the chat. We did it together. And thank you for proving that Hollywood and celebrity culture is broken. And we won, actually, because so many people were sick of this agenda. And it's because of audiences like this and communities like this. And so it's always such an honor to be on the program. I freaking love you all.
Love you, Benny.
We're glad,
Thanks, brother.
Benny, we're glad you're leading the charge on
Yep.
the media side now, man.
Yep.
We
Embracing
win.
nerd culture. That's what the key is.
Yeah.
We win, and we're going to keep on winning. And we do it for our kids. So
And we're gonna see you at MegaCon. So
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
yes, sir. Let's
Yes.
go, man. So
We will be there, back at it, and Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. We can still say it. We stopped them
Right.
from eating the dogs and cats. And,
Yes.
we're gonna not get sick of winning.
Right on.
all right, Benny.
Benny Johnson,
everybody.
everybody.
Thank you.
Woo!
Have a good one, man.
Brother, brother.
Later,
We
man.
could awkwardly leave him there. No. Oh,
Benny's awesome. Benny's awesome.
no, it's understanding. You know, he's never come out and said, "Oh, the fucking incel gamers in their basement." You know, like that.
No, he's like he wants to understand the
Yep.
culture instead of shit all over it, and he's crushing it. I mean, he's got the biggest show right now, so it's awesome to see. So
Yeah,
you know,
he
Benny's
understands
awesome.
the significance of culture and respects it, and that's what's needed.
But he
That's
doesn't come in
very
here and
important.
pretend like he knows. He asks questions.
Yep.
He's
Yeah.
like, "Hey, I don't know this. Tell me about this. Help me understand this." Which is exactly what you should do if you instead of just coming in here and acting like you know or whatever. So it's awesome. It's good stuff.
It's good stuff. Want to get the soups? I think we should get the soups. Let's get the soups. We're doing a Rumble bonus hour today. We're back to that. So we'll do that in a little bit. Whatever soups we don't get, I take care of Monday on Rumble and Nerdrotic Live. Changes coming to Nerdrotic Live soon. Like, next week? Yeah.
More diversity.
Yes. Well, my diversity hires are the best. Okay, they just are. My diversity hires are better than yours, but nonetheless, they're diversity hires. Let's be real.
We can't take any more black than we already have right now. So no applications, please.
No, we're turning. I mean, it's probably not the best move in the world, but whatever. I made a promise. I'm going to stick with it. Forbidden Frontier is going to be. We're going to turn Nerdrotic Live into Forbidden Frontier, and then whatever live stuff that came from here will go to Nerdrotic Daily. So we're going full on. We're turning it up a little bit with Forbidden Frontier. It's going to be very exciting year, including a trip to the UK, which will be more than just Forbidden Frontier.
Yes.
It's going to be Nerdrotic and all kinds of stuff. So we'll announce that. We'll announce Vegas. We have to announce Vegas soon because of what weekend I decided to put it on. But it's Jeremy's fault because he suggested it, and I think it's a good idea. And we got to focus on MegaCon, which I cannot wait for.
Yes.
Now that I've done with all my traveling and I've been home for like about a month, I'm ready to go somewhere.
Ready to go.
Ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm ready to head out. Noons has gifted 50 Nerdrotic memberships. 50.
Wow.
Is it $50 or how much is that? $250.
Multiplied by 5.
My God, the Asian can't even do math anymore. What's
No,
going
my
on?
nails are too long. That's why I have a
Your-
hard time typing.
Your nails are too.
You have to use a calculator.
I'm sorry.
What vacation?
My nails are too long. I've been typing typos like for the last 3
Listen,
days.
I understand you had a hard time. You had to
Fucking
rush
cut
out.
'em.
You had to rush out Squid Game. You played every part in Squid Game.
You know what's embarrassing?
So she's to blame.
My brother
Yes.
watched Shogun, and it's not a family friendly.
No,
right?
it's not. It's no. Shogun is not like. Let's sit the kids around and watch Shogun. Who does that?
But we did, okay?
There's just people getting boiled alive in there. And, people getting blown apart with cannons.
Oh, dude, that was awesome, man. Like
That was awesome.
That was holy.
My favorite part still is his reaction when she offers him a boy, and he's like, "Where in God's name am I?" And
Yeah,
he
I know.
like, pure repulsion.
No, Shogun was really. That's in my top 5. That like Shogun was really good, really good.
Even though I had to read it.
Even though you had to read, well, you have to read Squid Game too. I mean, I guess you could do the dub, but it's awful. And because I have my brother-in-law. Oh shit, yeah.
I haven't watched Squid Game yet.
Have you seen the ones with the actor where they've been giving him cornrows and
I watched. He should have the waves. That that's how it's
should
meme
look,
for a very long time about Norman Osborn's waves.
But it meant he had curly
this
hair.
fucking white
That's all
dude
it
with
meant.
waves.
Yeah. I watched Godzilla -1 at home to bring in the new year. The Atmos on it is so sexy and good. But I was because it was my brother-in-law, we had to do the dub version, right? So we did the dub version, but we kept the subtitles on, and they don't match at all. Like there is entire sentences that are completely different. I don't know if you've ever noticed that. So I played with that with Squid Game. Same thing. Entire sentences are fucking different.
Localization.
It happens a lot with anime where the subtitles and the dubbed are completely different depending on who gets their hands on it.
Yep.
When sometimes it makes sense because there are some expressions or some things that just might not fucking make any sense to somebody from a completely different culture. But it's when it gets invaded by activists and they start trying to put different things in there with from that perspective,
Tonally,
as opposed to just a complete cultural difference.
They also use phrases that they would use, and that's how you end up with millennials speak in it, which doesn't fit, because it's still supposed to be Japanese culture. You just may change, like, ramen to something other food that you eat or whatever.
Rice balls to jelly donuts.
But it's they basically change it into local Californian slang a lot of the time.
Found a great ramen place in Grand Rapids. It was fucking awesome. Love ramen. Sorry, I'm hungry.
I'm fucking hungry too.
I'm fucking hungry. Okay. So, but yeah, I mean, like bonus hour, Disparu will spoiler free run down Squid Game. I finally finished. Not impressed. Not terrible.
No.
Didn't suck. Doesn't suck.
I did really like the last episode though. It's easily my favorite out of the series.
Is it a good follow up to the first season though?
It doesn't justify its existence, but Disparu's right. The last episode leaves you fucking hanging blue balls, but at least something interesting happens. And oh god, I got a little PTSD. I got a little.
Was everyone says like it does justify season 2? Was there any hint that there would be a season 2 in the first season at all, or was it just like a complete that's it?
The creator said he only intended it to be one season. Yeah. He had no intentions of second.
It's you know that one Matrix film that's out, because there's only one Matrix film, and Neo kind of like goes, now I'm gonna, it's the decision's up to you. It kind of ends like that. It The
creator even said that season 2s aren't even very common in Korea as a whole. So it's more
there was no intention. No, the guy came back for money. So anybody saying that this is some kind of anti-capitalist message, the dude came back for money. Okay, which good. I am totally fine with him, and I think he came up with some really good ideas for the games. And I think there was a couple characters they introduced that I like, but unlike the first season where there's a lot of characters you're into, there isn't, and it's filled with exposition and it's pretty predictable till the end. The end has a craziness. There's a fight, right? And
which the first original thing of the series that doesn't just repeat the first.
I don't want to say who it is, but I'm going to say somebody gets a fork stuck in their fucking neck, and it just reminded me. I was eating lunch at Donovan Prison one day, talking to this giant fucking biker guy, and we're just eating lunch, bullshitting. And all of a sudden I look up, and there is a number 2 pencil in his fucking neck, and his blood is squirting all over me.
Holy shit.
And then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. Everybody's fucking throwing. I'm throwing. And the next thing I know, my celly, because I was such a kid there, dragged me into the cell and threw me in the cell during the fucking fight and shut the door.
Because you don't want none of this, man.
He knew I was going to fucking die. But I was like everybody just started throwing. So you're just kind of throwing punches and it's fucking nuts. Guards are going crazy. Fucking warning shots are going off in the fucking air inside. So it was fucking nuts. And it totally reminded me of that. And there's the guy after he gets stabbed, the other guy who stabs him locks himself in like a bathroom stall. And it just totally reminded me. I'm like, oh fuck, I just got major flashbacks on that. So that was a good scene. That was a good fucking scene.
Yeah, I think for me, it's the characterization in this, which is the weakness, which is really important because then it means you don't care when they die. And that just removes any kind of tension from a lot of the scenes. And I didn't have any of the major nervousness or I really hope this guy makes it that I did in the first season.
I know that Netflix said it's like this record release or whatever. Like every release seems to be a record release for Netflix. I don't get the same viral nature that the first Squid Game took over the fucking internet for a short period of time.
It was
like
crazy.
Every fucking body was talking.
You know what?
About
It made it a longer period of time. If it was released weekly, please continue.
I don't know if that's true or not.
I think it's absolutely true. As a matter of fact, I think it would have helped this season too.
Well, from a monetary perspective, it would have dragged it over more months if you did season 2 and 3 back to back, 14 episodes over multiple months. You have more renewal periods, which makes it more profitable.
Yeah,
there's no reason not to.
But the impact, like undeniable, Squid Game, the first one, major viral, great word of mouth impact. Jeremy's not wrong. Like, and the thing is, ultimately, where we agree is if you make a fucking good show, it doesn't matter. But it can help in sustainability. If you want to have a second season, like if it's just one and done, it's fine. Fucking whatever. Just drop it all at once. Who gives a shit? But now we have a second season that gives you blue balls and it's ended. People, Jeremy, nobody's talking about it now. And believe me, even less than nobody are going to be talking about it in a week.
Yeah. It's nobody seems to care. It does feel like it was just this thing, lightning in a bottle. People liked it, but it didn't leave people wanting more at all. And so I don't know, man. That's just where it's at. So I'm not interested in seeing it. I don't care. Maybe I'll watch it at some point in time when I'm bored, but it's not on my radar.
Yeah, it's not, like I said, it doesn't, like, it's better than most shit we watch, like, by far.
It's mid, but it's bad compared to Squid Game season 1.
Yes. It does not justify season 2. Like, it doesn't. But it doesn't, like, if you want to watch something, it's certainly better than most of what you'd be considering watching.
Season 3 or 2.5 or whatever is coming out later this year, right?
Yeah.
You're saying it's just another version of season 2?
It's 2.5. It's 2B. It is definitely a season 2 part 2. It is not a complete season. No, not in any way, shape, or form. Ministry of Wrong Thing for $49.99. Hey, Gary, are you hiring? Got a lady here, CPFP, in need of a job. She used to reading off screen for everything. She might read super chats better than you. By the way, are you okay with cats? No, I'm not. No. Doc Hollywood for 100. If I never smell a cat box again for the rest of my life, that'll be too soon. Okay, fuck cat boxes.
You get automatic ones now.
That's great. That's great. I like cats as animals. I don't want bad things. I'm not like Drunk 3PO where you just want to let them go to die. I just don't want to be responsible. I don't want to be responsible for any. Okay. Dogs rule.
Open the door.
Dogs are better than cats. Mostly because like there's a 9 out of 10 chance that if you get a dog, they're going to be cool as fuck. Yeah. There's like a 4 out of 10 chance with a cat.
4 out of 10.
So like, there are cool cats. Right. There are cats that are cool. There are cats that are chill. But there's also a good portion of cats that are just cocksucking bitches that they don't care if you live or die.
No, they'll eat you. If you die in the house, they will eat you. Yeah.
Cats are kind of like women. They always have a fucking attitude. You don't know why. Dogs are like men. They're just scratching their balls and they really don't give a fuck. You just give them food and they'll be happy. You know,
dogs really are fucking happy all the fucking time. It's great.
Yeah,
it's awesome. My new dog is awesome.
Dogs are like Drunk 3PO.
Unless you're watching Yellowstone and a horse appears, and my dogs just go fucking crazy on the TV. But that's about it. That's the only time my dogs are angry. When there's other animals on TV.
Remy likes to watch X-Files. It's such a weird thing. She'll watch the TV when X-Files is on for some reason. She won't watch it for anything else. X-Files, maybe.
She wants to believe.
I think so. Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe she likes Mulder. Who knows?
See our calendar for the new year.
We got to get Razorfist back on the show.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's good.
Yeah, it's very good.
I'm trying to. It's just hard to see it.
Not enough. I was going to say not enough tits, but it's. I like it.
There's
Yeah, where is
Snow White?
Yeah,
Snow White right here.
Well, it's International Women's Month, so I mean, is it's appropriate. But
yeah, he is dead though.
I'm much more looking forward to Mission Impossible than I am Karate Kid in March.
I am too. Nobody too. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Like the first one quite a bit.
Comics.
Anaconda.
It's called Anacondas. Did you know that?
Oh, is it?
Is it? Yeah, it is.
Jack Black.
Look at that. Predator. That's right. Predator Badlands. It's like a kind of a Prey sequel, except it's with, I think, a white girl this time, not an Injun. It'll be like Laura Ingalls Wilder versus the Predator.
Like Little Predator on the Prairie.
Little Predator on the Prairie. That's what it's going to be. It'll be some girl. Yeah. Because we haven't had enough girl bosses, and that's been fucking great. Doc Hollywood for $100 says, please send some love to our boy Valiant Renegade. He did a fantastic live stream after the horrific event in New Orleans, his hometown. Shout out Valiant. I watched the live stream. He said eloquent things that I completely agree with, like New Orleans is a shithole.
I remember when I took when I went to go to New Orleans, visited Odin, and we were looking for hookers, and it was fun.
That was such a fun live stream. Odin is locked up with his agoraphobia. Is that the fear of crowds?
Yes, I don't know what.
Yeah, that's open space, isn't it?
Odin is scared of everything, and I'm cruising around. I'm like, we're on a live stream. I was like, we're in New Orleans. Where's the hookers? Odin, where's the hookers? We gotta find hookers.
And then you had to go to an ATM or some shit because you wanted to pay the guy playing Darth Vader music or whatever. I watched the whole thing. It was good. It was good. I was fucking cracking up watching that.
The chat wanted hookers. We couldn't find any. I was disappointed.
Yeah, you're the only two motherfuckers who couldn't find hookers in fucking New Orleans. What the fuck?
The only things I know about New Orleans is from the originals. It's just full of vampires and witches.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You watched that?
Yeah.
Oh,
I've seen all of them. I even watched the one afterwards with the school one.
Well, you and my wife could compare
Legacies.
notes on that. Yeah. She watched them. She watched them all too. I watched the Vampire Diaries. Okay, I did.
The originals is better than Vampire Diaries.
Is it? Okay.
Absolutely agree.
What's worse, Vampire Diaries or Twilight?
I think X-Ray just
Twilight.
thinks that because of Klaus
Twilight.
Michelson, though.
Vampire Diaries has hot women.
Oh, hot women, hot men. Honestly, it was great. It's great.
Yeah, it's not a bunch of sparkle boys like practicing abstinence or whatever. It's like Vampire Diaries has some hot chicks.
Or imprinting on children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
Quelndar, great Timothy Chalamet as I would almost take him as Reed Richards over Pedro Pascal.
Over Pedro?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
It's not much of an improvement.
I mean,
he's a good actor. He's a good actor.
As far as as far as masculinity is concerned, I think they're pretty even. So Quelndar on the Streamlabs side for $250. It's Happy New Year, everyone. Hail to the fellowship. Hail to you, Quelndar. See you at Forbidden Frontier. Vocal Gamer 92 for 50. Says, hey, FNT. Hope everyone's been enjoying the nuclear meltdown Hollywooders having over this Christmas. It has been, quite frankly, the best thing I've seen all year. I have enjoyed. I go back and rewatch it. I'll go get a cup of coffee, and I sit back and I get comfortable. I'll watch it at my home theater. It's been fucking great. It's been great. It's been the highlight of the year. It's been a rough year, okay, but it ended well. Had a pretty good ending, got to say. Not too sure about this year's beginning. Not so much. Not so much. A lot of weird shit going on.
Yeah, there really is.
That's there I am, right there. There
We're
I
going
am,
to be
rolling.
late.
See, I told you I was in the painting. I told you.
We're gonna be late.
Vocal Gamer 92 for 50 says, "Hey, FNT, hope everyone's enjoying the meltdown." Okay, then I'm hyped for Zegler's failure come March. Anywho, best of luck in 25 and shout out from Pennsylvania. Oh, thank you, Pennsylvania. Thank you, Amish people. Thank you for saving our country for at least for now. We appreciate you. We survived until 25. Will we make the fix in 26? What's a good one to rhyme? What will Hollywood do in 26?
No more chicks with dicks in 26.
Yeah, no more.
There we go.
No
We're
more
on the same
chicks with
track. Here we
dicks.
go.
No.
Doc Hollywood for 100. That is a Michael J. Fox movie. Anyone see Doc Hollywood? I liked it. I thought Doc Hollywood's very good. Benny's performance at the Turning Point event was solid gold. If you haven't seen it, you need to. I have seen it.
Benny crushed it.
I also saw the fight that went outside. Who got in a fight again?
It was
Laura Loomer and
Gray.
Loomer and
Is this a
Milo.
different one?
No,
Bryson Gray.
Okay,
Bryson Gray.
Bryson Gray and somebody else. Now, if Laura Loomer got in a fist fight with Milo, that would have been gold. That would have been fucking gold.
That would have been some catty shit right there.
That would have. I mean, I'd take Loomer, but just in a fight,
She's crazy.
She's talking about
that crazy
fight.
eyes.
Yeah, she scratches his eyes out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's psycho. Devoured Troll, 2 parts for $40. I don't know how to say this, but I felt I had to share it. Gary, this past Tuesday, God took a little boy from us. Oh no.
No.
He had some health issues and he was deteriorating faster than we could get help. This was my little 2-year-old boy. Holy shit.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
They watched every episode of Friday Night Tights with me. I had tons to share this with you. I wanted to share this with you because he loved your voice and this show. Thank you for all the memories with my boy. Oh, I'm so sorry, man.
Oh my God, I'm so
Sorry to hear that. That's rough.
No words can ever really fix losing a child. Ugh.
No, not at all.
Prayers. Lots of prayers out to you, brother. Lone Wolf has donated 50. Follows that up with just 50. Implied applause. We're not going to do it right now. Okay. So, yeah, it's rough, man. Mr. Rodent 71 has gifted 50 Nerdrotic memberships for X-Ray Girl.
I really can't press the 2, can
250,
I?
right? 250. 250.
I'm so sorry.
I've
She's
seen
supposed to be the smart one.
She's
She's
not
supposed to be the smart one.
long dumbass nails, and they can't type. They can barely fucking text on their phones, and they think. Do you just
Like,
do
who's
it
it
for
for?
yourself? Do you just think that looks great?
No,
Dudes think
they're
it looks
just,
whack
they've
as
got-
fuck
they've
if you can't
grown
even
so
type on a phone.
long that I haven't had the chance to take them off.
Girls think it looks good.
Girls, yeah, because no guys think long nails looks good for anything. Because like the first thing that hits our mind is we're gonna get scratched in areas we don't want to get scratched.
Worry about your balls.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest, okay?
It's true.
Yeah, it's true. True.
Ian So Forth has gifted 10 Nerdrotic memberships for $50. Thank you. The Bloody Damn Reaper for $199. $199.99. $199. Hey, I was repping my 199 hat. Oh, do you see that? I sent it to you first, Jeremy.
I know. Yeah.
Holy shit. We're going through the Riverwalk. We'll get back to your super chat in just a moment. I've never been to the Riverwalk. This is my first time I went last night. So I've been here for 3 years and I've never been to the Riverwalk.
Even I've been there.
I know. And it's fucking badass. It's really cool. We got in a boat. We went down the boat and fucking Luffy was our guide. He had a straw hat and I didn't play the video. He has like a Brazilian accent. So it's fucking Luffy. He was great. He was funny as hell, but I was like, oh my God. But man, Riverwalk, pretty cool. I should go outside once in a while in San Antonio.
Yeah. You've only been there for like, what, 2 years?
I went to Six Flags for the first time the day before yesterday. They have a whole
first time ever.
I was at Six Flags the same day, but a different
Six Flag? Oh.
Yeah. So the
Well,
Dallas one.
was yours half closed like ours? Like half the rides were just shut because it was New Year's Day? We went to DC Land, the DC universe. So they have a Kid Flash, right? The Kid Flash, the statue is white, but all the sign and iconography is the black Kid Flash, is the black Wally. And then they have a Cyborg ride that they shut down, which looked pretty cool. Batman the ride was shut down. Superman the ride was going, that's a fucking badass ride. That's a good ride.
The tower?
Kid
Not the
Flash?
tower. No, it's a
Oh, I haven't read that.
Wally
Kid
West.
Flash? So they had Epstein there?
Maybe. I don't know. Keep your eye on your kids at the park. Yeah, the Superman the ride is a roller coaster that's kind of not as hardcore as Batman the ride. Batman the ride is fucking hardcore. But it's very spinny and loopy. It's very spinny and loopy. I got suckered into one called it was the Iron, whatever the fuck it was. And I could only see we could only see half it, so we thought it was like Colossus. We thought it was just dipping, and because there was no shoulder restraints on
the
it.
Iron Rattler.
The Iron Rattler. Yeah, and then all of a sudden we saw this is for the thrill thing. It's the highest thing. We're like, that doesn't look that bad. Then we got on it. We're like, holy fucking shit, that was good. It was
all right.
The original Rattler was an all wooden roller coaster.
Yeah,
and
so
they replaced it.
They replaced it as a steel one, and it was great. It was so good. Good times. Six Flags. But half of it was closed. Half of it was closed.
Yeah.
The Bloody Damn Reaper for $199.99. Hail FNT. I have a question for the gang. I am currently reading the Stormlight Archive series. Oh, Chad?
Nice.
Chad.
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
Series as amazing as it is, I'm relieved current Hollywood doesn't adapt it. But here's my question. If you are guaranteed it would be adapted properly, what story would you choose?
Mistborn.
From Sanderson?
The Stormlight Archive is a story.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it's just one.
I think you'd have to tell it as a series, and it'd have to be like an epic series that went on for a long time.
I think maybe he means the Cosmere, like all of it.
Oh, if it's
like
the
what
Cosmere,
story would you pick?
Start with Mistborn. 100%.
It's the easiest onboarding.
You could do Elantris as a movie, but Mistborn would be by far the best.
Yeah.
And
start with as a series.
Wax and Wayne is my favorite. And
it's pretty badass, dude.
Such a great movie. Like it's more fast paced, and I enjoy the characters more.
I'm writing something in the private chat.
Read the books. If you haven't read any of the Stormlight Archives or Mistborn or any of the Cosmere, go do it right now. Just pick one. Pick one. Just read it. It's awesome.
And it's kind of mind-blowing when you realize, because most people just read the books one by one, and then you realize they're all tied together by like a central different realm.
Yeah.
But yeah, the magic system. It's very unique, but all part of the same being, essentially.
Yeah. And there was a dual, Ryan was talking about, like, there's a headline out there that Brandon Sanderson might have capitulated to the LGBT community, or he might have said something else. It just depends on your point of view.
I haven't read Stormlight 5 yet, so I know it has more representation in it. I've actually spoken to Brandon about it, and I withholding judgment until I read it.
Yeah.
I think the guy's great. I think he's a phenomenal author, and it's not to appease any mob. He's actually doing it out of his own.
If you have
desire.
a gay character in a book and it makes sense and it's just a character, who gives a shit? Nobody cares.
Yeah,
Fucking A Song of Ice and Fire has a lot of gay characters. All right.
It's all, Brandon has a channel where he makes lots of videos, like multiple hours just saying his opinions on things. So you can kind of get it from the horse's mouth. When Wheel of Time came out, he was very careful that he didn't want to insult Wheel of Time because he didn't want to give, essentially, the YouTube side that didn't like Wheel of Time ammunition. And then over time, as it came out, it turned out he actually hated it a lot more than he was.
Talk about the TV show. The TV show.
Yeah, the TV show.
Yeah.
So he's very aware of what he says, and he might be phrasing things for the public.
He's a religious guy, right? And he was asked, even Preston Jacobs, big fan of this channel, by the way, and everybody here, was talking about why they were talking about why doesn't George R. Martin just have somebody else come and finish the book? And Brandon Sanderson's name came up, and apparently Brandon Sanderson has answered this question and said no, because like I don't really share the values of this fucking story at all. So he said no. Because of that, because of that, he says I probably wouldn't have written a good one anyway, and I'll just do my own thing, which is a good honest answer that they got mad at him for, fucking because they're They're them.
I'm also not sure people could afford him to finish their story.
And look,
Yeah.
I haven't read Stormlight 5. I have spoken to him about it, and I know there are the decisions he's made with the book that I personally would not have made. And it depends how he executes it. If he pulls it off, fine.
Yeah.
If not, you know,
that's
I'll have to
ultimately
read
it's it. Biggest problem is Tim Drake, taking characters that are established and turning them gay, like or turning them black or ginger side, which is definitely real. That's what most fans have a problem with. Roland the Wretched, 4 parts for $100. Roland! What's up, buddy? As 2025 starts, we should look back at Gary's accomplishments in 2024. One of them was not being on time. Okay, I'm just going to point that out right now. Progress, not perfection. He reached 1 million subs. He finally found a show, The Acolyte, with a lower finishing rate. Wow. That goes right after me. Will Ferrell blamed him by name for Harris losing the presidency, and he almost finished a song. I did finish the song. We're waiting on Dan Vask, but, Dan Vask was too big. You know what? He had to stop writing the song because of the rise of fascism. But it's real in his country. Dan Vask is gay, and we love our gay friends. I wish you continued success in 2025. Also hope that Jeremy and Shad actually have a good take in 2025. We all do too. But, we can't always get what we want. They can start with Die Hard as a Christmas movie, and Pineapple Belongs on Pizza. Yeah, baby!
Jeremy, I've come to understand you more. It's hard being so.
This isn't helping you, Jeremy.
It's tough.
Stop
you don't want to align with Twilight.
Yeah.
Listen, if you, I already aligned with Twilight with him on this.
You're too far gone.
Like someone in the chat was said, let me remind everyone that Jeremy said Wicked was a good movie. Yes, it is a good fucking movie. It is. It
actually is.
movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Honesty is all you're gonna get from me. I'm not
That's
here
right.
to repeat.
Why are you gay?
I'm here to give you my opinion. That's it.
Yes.
So
it is good.
And as a homosexual man, yes.
Even Ryan
Why
agrees.
doesn't Ryan get nearly as much crap as we do? He's like,
Because it's in a really miserable way. It's like, I don't want to.
Ryan likes me. Wait.
That Twilight has some good parts to it. And then,
Genius of Ryan. Ryan made the chat pay for him to even go see Wicked in the first place. So it was reluctantly that he had to go see it.
Yeah, I wasn't planning on seeing it. I'm not gonna probably ever watch it again. And it's a story about fucking friendship between two women.
That's perfect. And it's musical. But you like musicals. You like singing. I've seen you at karaoke, bro. You are a musical theater fan. For sure.
I don't love all musicals, but if a musical is good, I like it. I'm not opposed to them at all. And I saw one of the sing-along versions. That was Rabid One sent the super chat.
That sounds
Rabid
terrible,
One sent the super chat because I was like, hey, if somebody does me $100, I'll go see it. And he does it with the caveat that it had to be a sing-along version. So I was in it was probably an 80% full theater on Monday. Was it Monday? So a couple days ago. And a lot of people were dressed up. And everybody was fucking singing the entire time. Yeah.
That sounds terrible.
That's like the only guy there not singing. He's got his arms crossed like this.
It wasn't like, it wasn't a miserable experience with all those people singing. They were all fucking stoked. That's the most excited I've probably seen a theater in a long time, to be honest. But obviously I didn't know the fucking words. I'm not going to sing along with it.
Yeah. It's not just a good movie.
It was a good
really
movie.
Fucking good movie.
It was
really
a good movie.
So.
And obviously, if you are a fan of, if you've probably watched the play, you probably appreciate it a lot more than I did.
Plays better. Plays 1,000 times
so I don't know, but
It's
certainly
supposed to
the
be a
audience
play.
that it's made for has been very receptive towards it.
It's made a lot of money. The musical, you said the musical one, you said the theater was packed the day you went and it was just a normal day.
I think it's retarded for Universal to put it on digital as quick as they did.
Absolutely retarded. Yeah, it's already out.
Look, I imagine they're probably going to make a ton on digital sales.
There's a sing-along version on the digital site. Saw it when it popped up.
There is,
Prime.
and there's deleted scenes and all that shit. But with as well as it's doing in theaters, I think it was dumb of them to put it on video on demand. They're probably hoping for a best of both worlds, and they've had success with doing that with something like Puss in Boots: Last Wish. They put that on digital about 30 days after. This one was about 6 weeks after, and they got great returns on video on demand, and they still continue to make a lot of money box office wise. But
good word of mouth. People will still go to the theater. They will.
They will, and I feel like Wicked's going to turn out being pretty much around where I thought I was, $700+ million range when it's all said and done, maybe 750 if they're lucky. But
it's an example like Barbie, where it's a story that's made for women and gay people, so like it works for that audience, and that's why they show up.
Yeah, it's not like
for those that have,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You don't take just like you shouldn't take a massively popular male-dominated franchise and try to reinvent the wheel and make it for fucking women. Yeah, you shouldn't take a musical, a play, and that was based off of a story. But you shouldn't take that musical and try to make it appeal to a completely different demographic. Yeah. You should make it first and foremost stay true to the people that it was intended for and the fans of it. And if everybody else comes along, that's great. But that's who you should be making shit for, even though it's not for me. I gotta acknowledge that.
Yep.
And sure, I like Rocky Horror, but it's about a authoritarian trans man who imprisons a bunch of people and makes a dude so he can fuck, but that dude wants to fuck women, so he eventually gets killed. But it is gayer than Wicked. Like,
based on a true story.
Yeah, based on a true story.
There's a song called "Sweet Transvestite." I mean, you don't get gayer than that.
You really don't.
The craziest part is like with all of it, with all like how annoying and cringeworthy so many of those PR spots were, and some of those interviews were. Like as awful as that was. In the movie, I like both the characters. I think they both.
He's also a cannibal.
I
forgot to mention he's he's a cannibal trans. So.
I will say with the interviews of that whatever her name is, the black chick from Wicked, she's so fucking unlikable in real life that it made her portrayal in the movie seem so.
That's why they're actors. I know. They can pretend to be people for a little while. But when they're off, they're crying. Well, my theory is it feels like they just got out of Harvey Weinstein's office, that whole press tour, which just felt like trauma, so. Ian, I hope you finally get the growth spurt 30 years late, and Chrissy needs to get back on the road. Today's read is John 8:32, and Ryan will know the truth, and being gay will set him free. He just admitted it. He liked Wicked. Hail FNQ, Fellowship, Chat, Mods, Baby Thor, and Pizza Time Hawaiian Pizza. I am very sorry to report Pizza Time in San Marcos is gone. It has gone out of business.
I bet it was that Hawaiian pizza.
Yeah,
probably.
Too much of
that. We've lost a great thing. We've lost a great thing. Only thing gayer than
pineapple on pizza.
Only thing. Oh yeah, it's not stopping anybody. By the way, Round Table in San Antonio. If you want a good pineapple pizza, go to Round Table in San Antonio.
Pineapple on pizza is the diversity of pizza.
Whatever.
What it is.
The only thing gayer than man buns. You're all fired. Only thing gayer than man buns is how long the song is taking. Until next time, so long, gay boys. Jeremy, you need to get out of here.
Yep. Hail Friday Night Tights. It was good having Benny on. Yes. I'll see all of you for Cobra Cast tonight. And I'm making videos again.
No, you're not.
Crazy.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I made one.
Stop lying.
I made one.
I saw it.
I'll keep making more. But anyway, appreciate all of you, except for all of you. Go fuck yourself. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you too.
New year, same us. Okay.
Yeah. Worst part of Wicked, Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah,
really?
Kind of was. Yeah. He's
because
become
he's
shtick.
just him.
It's a shtick.
I'm so sick of him him getting cast to just. I'm sure he can do a lot of fucking other things. I'm just sick of him getting cast to just be weird Jeff Goldblum.
I like that though.
He's like settled into that character, and that's all.
I'm so fucking sick of it. He's the same. Like it's the same thing and everything.
I think it's legit, but I do find it entertaining myself. So.
Horror Amarada, who is gonna get married? Who's gonna get married for Finny?
Yeah.
Sheep's locking it down. Locking it down, man.
Smart man.
Black Aragorn. Might be a rough start so far, but Happy New Year, everyone. I know I'm planning for a great one. Gary, Black Aragorn, and I have been trying to get a hold of you. Why? Which way? Is it through DM? Email me, Gary@nerdrotic.com, so Melissa sees it. To ask a question, gonna try an email. Love you all. Yeah, email. I will let Melissa know. We did discuss it about possible plans for the thing. I'll keep it really vague. Yeah, thank you and congratulations to both you kids, you kooky kids. Anonymous for Fitty on the Streamlabs side. Happy New Year. Sorry I haven't been able to donate lately. It's okay, buddy. It's all good. But I keep watching every week. I love you guys. That's all we ask. You fill my lonely heart with joy. Oh, man. You're not lonely. You got us. Come out to Vegas. Come out to MegaCon if you can. And Stephanie Ann Foster has gifted 10 thank you, Stephanie, 10 Nerdrotic memberships for 50. Thank God X-Ray Girl did the math right on that one. All right. We're going to get the rest of that stuff on Monday. Nerdrotic Live, 11 a.m. Dual streaming on Rumble and Nerdrotic Live. We are going to head over to Rumble for the bonus hour. My kids are going back. So this is my last night with them, so I'm going to go hang with them after the show.
Hey, you empty nester.
Oh, dude, it's so terrible. Kidding me? It's fucking great. I got the TV to myself. My food isn't disappearing from the fucking fridge all the time. I mean, I miss them a lot.
Oh. Just not when they take your shit.
Dude, when you mess with Papa's food, no, that's when I get mad. All right, so thanks to the Modrotics. Thanks to everyone who left a super chat and donation here on the YouTube side. We appreciate all of you. Thanks to the lurkers. Thanks to my co-hosts. I'm glad to be here, starting the year with you guys. If you want to join us over at Rumble for the bonus hour, please do so. Otherwise, ciao bella.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Dame, dame.